Reincarnated 3 times, only to defeat the strongest 4-winged giant. With my companions, I fought with all my might and killed the 4-winged giant we thought was the strongest. I thought everything would end. Little did I know that an even stronger 8-winged giant existed in the world. It appeared before them at that moment. At this moment, the last 2 surviving warriors on the battlefield were plunged into shock and helplessness. After a moment of shock, the female warrior felt she could resist no longer, but the male warrior knew there was no turning back. He assumed a fighting stance, prepared to fight to the death. The female warrior admired his courage. She suddenly kissed him. 20 days earlier, 3 giants, for reasons unknown, suddenly destroyed more than half of the Empire's territory. Only after the entire army was reduced to just Lonan and the female commander did they manage to barely hold them off. Lonan, heavily wounded, warily looked at his dead companions. Suddenly a voice rang out. Had not seen such a powerful human in a long time. Lonan turned his head, realizing the source of the voice was the fallen 4-winged giant. He then stepped heavily on it. He stared down it with disdain and asked, "You're still alive? 4-winged giant, Ahayat." Remembering my destroyed home, I angrily stamped on his face and said, "Because of you, half an empire has become a tum. But how are you still alive?" But the giant simply said expressionlessly, "Ahai will soon return to the god." "That's good because you're friends. They died before you and are waiting for you over there," Lonan said. The giant said expressionlessly, "Friend?" Lonan said with a smile, "Yes. The other 2 who came with you, one was roasted to a crisp by a furious red dragon. The other was permanently sealed away by an old man named Lu Hong. That's what will happen to you, you damn fools." A move, the giant said. "Do not hide the truth with shallow words. Hero, we share information with each other. I know they've perished with their opponent, and someone as powerful as you will also cease to exist. Do not do what you're incapable of. I know your life is coming to an end. I'm glad. If you had realized your innate abilities earlier, you would have had enough time to train, and you would have become a huge obstacle to our aspirations." Lonan seemed to have been seen through, saying, "Good," although neither of us said anything. "But I know I've had a terrible past. So just shut the F*** up." The giant continued, "You are a great human being. Pride is acceptable. But ultimately, your world will soon be swallowed and disappear in the starlight." Before the words finished, Lonan, who had reached his limit of patience, cut off his head with one blow. After doing all this, Lonan slowly walked along the battlefield. Suddenly he saw the lifeless eyes of his former companion. He came to his side and closed his eyes for him, and I muttered, "Why did not you run when I told you to? Why be so to sacrifice your life for so-called strict discipline? If I had only known my sword was effective against giants, you would not have died first. I really did not know." At this moment, Lonan was plunged into endless self-reproach and sorrow. He suddenly heard a woman's voice calling for help. "Is anyone there? I cannot move. I'm injured." Lonan was shocked and followed the sound. He found a woman in a red coat. Her left arm was broken. Blood continued to drip. Lonan felt a surge of exhilaration. Taking a closer look, it's actually Commander Deshan. The female Commander Deshan seems unconcerned about her injuries. She asks, "Is the giant defeated?" Lonan replies, "Yes, I killed it myself." Upon hearing the answer, Deshan seems relieved. Tears involuntarily streamed down her face. "Thank you, Private Lonan. Because in the past, those who died in battle were simply discarded. So Lonan seized the opportunity to make a request. Since you're so grateful to me, could you please arrange a proper burial for these soldiers?" After saying this, Lonan coughed violently. Looking at the blood on his hands, he told the Grand Commander that he could die at any moment. After a moment of silence, Adshan asked him if he could live. "What would you want to do?" Speaking of which, Lonan thought of his recent conversation with the giant and replied, "I suppose I'll go to the academy to study. That was my deceased sister's wish, but it's all hopeless now." Hearing this, Adshan angrily said to him, "Do not say such depressing things. The rescue team will be here soon." In an instant, the sky suddenly cleared, revealing a ray of dawn. A colossal 8-winged giant and countless followers appeared in the sky. At that moment, their eyes widened in fear. Shan fell in deep despair. This was already the 3rd rebirth? Could it be that defeating the 3 giants was not the end? This time there's truly no way. I can't save this world. Lonan beside her felt a moment of fear before drawing his sword. With a determined expression, he shouted at her, "My great commander comrade, what are you doing? Quickly use your telekinesis to send me up there. My sword cannot reach them. Even if I'll still show those bastards what I'm made of." At him, he even has to fight in this situation. What a fearless man. Then she kissed him, and she put a pearl into his mouth. "I'll leave it to you for the last time, and when you see me again, please advise me against becoming a tailor." Lonan was still puzzled by her speaking up for him. Suddenly, a wave of magic from the 8-winged giant attacked from behind Lonan. After a flash of brilliant light, with the bead spinning rapidly, opened his eyes again. Lonan saw the familiar and beautiful scene before him. Green mountains surrounded him and clear water flowed endlessly. Children are playing by the river. He sits leisurely on the grass. He froze. Is this my home? Have I really gone back to the past? After the initial shock of time travel, Lonan carefully recalled Adishan's words. "Once I was a tailor. I was able to climb to the position of the Grand Commander thanks to this bead. This ball can rewind time 4 times. I already used it 3 times. I'll leave the last one to you. And when you see me again, please advise me against being a tailor." To verify that this is not a dream, Lonan headbutted a nearby tree, hoping he could wake up. Lunan, feeling the pain, accepted the reality. He had returned to the past. What should I do now to defeat the 8-winged giant? Wait, if I returned to the past? Would not I be able to see my sister? Lunan picked up a twig. Then he eagerly rushed home. I suddenly noticed a bully forcing a child to hand over money. He hung him upside down from a tree. Wait. Lunan realized he was not tied up with rope. It's magic. People who can use magic like this are rare on the battlefield. A small town might not even produce one. Look close, it's our cell. The boy could not afford it. He also has a seriously ill mother to support. Then the bully ordered him to be lifted high. Azel struggled internally. He initially learned magic to prove he had his own strengths. He was forced and did not want to hurt anyone. Seeing Azel's hesitation, the enraged bully said, "It's not you hanging there. What are you afraid of? Do you want to try being hung up too?" Azel was scared just as he was casting a spell. Lona interrupted him with a stick. "Idiot, stop, you'll kill him." The bully said angrily, "What are you doing? You just stop when he tells you to." But Kalonan pulled Azel's side. "You do not have to work for that jerk. Talk to me, Azel. Tell me, where did you learn your magic?" "From a spellbook I bought from a street vendor." Kalonan was surprised she was so powerful using a cheap spellbook. Azel gift. His intuition told him that this was a rare and valuable assistant in the future. Faced with Luna and Azel ignoring him, the bully drew his sword and angrily said, "Bow, you trash, you dare ignore me and step on me?" Seeing the bully draw his sword and attack suddenly, Lunan, who had practiced swordsmanship for more than 2.5 years in his past life, saw through his attack at a glance. Although he was strong, his sword stance was incorrect. He dodged it easily by stepping to the side. The bully, surprised that Lunan easily dodged him, feigned composure. "You're lucky this time, but your luck will not hold. Unless you kneel and beg for forgiveness, I'll cut off one of your arms." Lunan calmly said, "Yes, I had bad luck my whole life. Except today." Seeing Lunan resist, he sneered, "More than one life? You're out of luck today. I'm gonna kill you. Of course I'll take good care of your sister. Every time I see her figure I want." Lunan's face darkened. His sister was his only weakness. Before he finished speaking, blood spurted from the bully's head. One of the bully's ears fell off. This scene shocked the thugs nearby. How did he do it with a branch? Lunan seized the opportunity and made them give all their money to the boy. The thugs dared not disobey. Then they fled. Azel apologized to the bullied boy, feeling very guilty. The boy did not mind. Finally, Lunan and Azel made an appointment. "Meet here at 2:30 am 4 days later. Because I have something very important to do." After hearing that, Azel blushed shyly. After explaining everything, he quickly ran home. Holding the flowers, he hesitated at the door, unable to go inside. "In my past life, I had countless times fantasized about seeing my sister again, but I never had the chance. What should I do? Should I apologize for leaving without saying goodbye? I should tell her how much I miss her. I should ask her if she's doing okay." He stood there blankly by the door, until his sister opened the door. Lunan only said one sentence. "I'm back." His sister said gently, "You're back early today." Lunan handed her the flowers. My sister said with a happy face, "I actually received flowers from my cold brother." Seeing his sister's delicious food and care, Lunan never thought he would see this scene again. Suddenly, Lunan remembered that he did not know what year it was, so he asked his sister how old she was. His sister looked at him curiously and said, "Huh. Ronan, why do you ask?" "You remember. Let me see if you're feeling unwell. Do you have a fever?" Ronan thinks deep. "My older sister is 22 now. That means the 8-winged giant invasion is still 10 years away." Sister touched his forehead. "No fever." Lunan looked at his sister, who was still the same as before, smart, beautiful, and gentle. He grabbed her hand and said with a smile, "I'm considering going to the academy to study." Sister was stunned for a moment, then said with a face full of anticipation, "Really? Say it again. You're serious, right?" "But every time I bring this up, you do not listen." Lunan answered at a loss. "I'm serious." Then his sister happily acted like a child. She went to retrieve the money she had saved as a secret. Lunan looked at the money gratefully and said awkwardly, "I'm very grateful to your sister, but this money may not be enough." His sister looked at him in surprise. "I'm going to the best royal academy, the Filian Academy." His sister's face was full of embarrassment, and she exclaimed in surprise, "Huh? What?" Filian Academy is the Empire's top academy. Boasts the nation's most outstanding professors, plus it receives massive government funding. This ensures the academy's top position. The academy produces many talents. Grand Commander of Sword Saint Shilla, and the infamous winner which, among others, Lunan and Azel had agreed to meet. They were to meet at 2 o'clock in the morning. Azel hesitantly emerged from behind a tree. Lunan had not expected Azel to come. He said, "Azel, you really came?" Azel replied resentfully, "Because you said you would keep pestering me if I did not come." Lunan smiled and said, "I was just kidding. Let's forget about it." After saying that, he threw his level 3 backpack on the ground. Then he asked Azrael to perform a magic test. He asked her to use telepathy to lift Lunan into the air. In her past life, she relied on telepathic assistance to fly into the sky and fight giants. Azrael panicked and confirmed with Lunan again. "Telepathy? Wait, are you sure you want to do something so dangerous?" Lunan calmly confirmed and told him begin. Azel then began to cast a spell, gathering energy and then releasing it. Luna was seen surrounded by his energy. His whole body floated up. Luna was somewhat surprised. Assel could actually lift him this high, although Assel still lacked precision in controlling the height and stability. But it seems there's more magic than I thought. Lunan cut the magic with his sword. He leaped to the ground. Assel surprised. He could actually cut the magic in half. He curiously asked. Lunan bluffed, saying, "It's an acrobatic move I've been practicing for a long time." Actually, Lunan did not know why he had such an ability. In his past life, it was because of this ability that he defeated the four-winged giant. After testing Assel's magic, Lunan planned to go with Assel to obtain the academy's tuition fees. He frantically persuaded Assel to go for further studies together. Assel looked at him incredulously and hesitated, because those who enter this academy are either geniuses or extremely wealthy nobles. Lunan activates his cunning in sarcastic modes. Are you going to waste your talent accommodating small-time thugs? Do you want to remain weak and bullied for the rest of your life? Do you want to continue living a muddled life like before? I know that feeling. You just need to do as I say to get there. Will not stop you, you decide. Assel watches Lunan walk away. He eagerly agreed and followed him. Seeing Assel following Lunan led him to a place swarming with goblins. There are many types of goblins. Compared to ordinary goblins, the brown and green goblins are more ferocious and most importantly have a unique characteristic. They are driven mad by gold and treasure. Every full moon, they would gather together to offer the gold and treasures they had plundered. His plan was to take advantage of the goblins' sleep, using telepathy to steal their loot. After saying this, he took out a level 3 backpack and said to Assel, "Let's begin." Assel was afraid that after waking the goblins, he would die without a burial place. He was so upset he was about to cry. Seeing Assel hesitate, Lunan fed him more chicken soup. There are only 2 ways to enter the academy now. One is to enter as a genius. The other is to get the high tuition fee now. And this is also a good opportunity for practical training. Finally, Assel had no choice but to comply. With the magic activated, the goblin's treasure slowly fell into the bag. To avoid waking them up, Assel had to use all his might to control his magic. Fortunately, everything went very smoothly. He quickly filled the 2 packages. "I knew you could do it." Lunan happily stroked Assel's head. Actually, he himself was not entirely sure. He did not expect Assel to adapt so quickly. "Looks like I found myself a useful tool." After they finished counting the gold and jewels, as they were preparing to leave, suddenly a goblin trained for 2.5 years flew past swiftly. A group of people gave chase. They woke up a goblin who was sound asleep. The goblin discovered the jewels in the chest were gone and yelled, waking up the rest of the sleeping goblins. The goblins noticed the missing jewels and began searching. They eventually found Lunan and the other person. Lunan was speechless. Who the hell steals a goblin in the middle of the night? The goblins then charged towards them frantically. Ezra was terrified, his face a mask of fear, and collapsed to the ground. "Should not we just abandon the treasure and run?" Lunan drew his sword. "What about the tuition fees? Do you have a solution?" Meanwhile, Lunan glanced at the sword in his hand. It was made of cheap steel. Considering the hardness of a goblin's body, it would probably break after only 15 swings. But there are 30 goblins here. However, it's enough for me. 3 goblins suddenly attacked. Lunan smirked, slashing with his sword. The sword was stained with blood. The 3 goblins in the front row fell to the ground. The assholes were stunned. What did I just see? Lunan killed 3 with 1 strike. Then an alpha attack. All the goblins are dead. Assel swallowed. He's already become this strong? Just then, Lunan's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Did not days off grab your bag? Let's go." The 2 set off for home. I thought it would be a comfortable assignment. I did not expect it to be so difficult. Lunan moved his aching body. It's probably because I'm still growing. I definitely need to strengthen my physical training when I get back, Lunan thought to himself, but at that moment, Assel let a scream. What was that sound? Lunan shook his head. I do not. I only know that if I were to meet them, I'd beat their heads in. Meanwhile, a bow and arrow behind him was quietly aimed at Assel. The man drew the bowstring back fully and shot at the girl. Lunan noticed and caught the arrow with his bare hands. The man who shot the arrow apologized, but his face showed no remorse. It turned out that they had witnessed Lunan obtaining the goblin's treasure, so they harbored ill intentions. Seeing that the assassination failed, they decided to try a different approach. They thought the 2 children were not very wary of strangers, so they came over with apologetic faces saying, Sorry, children, there was a rustling sound and I thought it was goblins. Lunan angrily snapped his arrow in 2. By now they were less than 2.5 meters apart. The man extended his hand again in apology, but his eyes were fixed on Lunan's backpack. Lunan saw through their scheme at once and said, Where exactly? Your acting is terrible. Cannot you even hide your greedy eyes? The man fell silent for a moment after hearing this. He looked at the faces of the 2 children. He did not think they posed much of a threat, so he winked at his companion. Smiling playfully, he continued walking towards Lunan. This 6th brother secretly reached behind his back. He gripped the short knife at his waist. Suddenly he lunged forward, unexpectedly slashing at Lunan. Oh, I should introduce myself first. We are employees of the Myanmar Northern Kapark. Myanmar Northern Kapark. Lunan directly grabbed his hand. He remembered these scums. He threw a punch, instantly stunning him. While Lunan was subduing his accomplice, Another thug charged forward, but Assel noticed him and used telepathy to instantly incapacitate the blonde-haired one. Seeing this, Lunan gave Assel a look. Nicely done. Then he snatched the sword from Huangma's hand. With one strike of the 7-star radiant slash, Huangma was split into 15 pieces. This scene completely shocked Assel. Lunan, how did you kill him? Lunan's eyes were unusually firm. I cannot let someone who wants to kill me live, especially since they're from the infamous Myanmar party. They engage in poaching, kidnapping, organ trafficking, and telecom fraud. They're involved in all sorts of evil. Idiot, if it were not for me, your grave would be 8 feet high. Suddenly the sacks brought by the two scumbags started jumping. It scared the two of them quite a bit. Is this what they poached? Lunan loosened the rope. In an instant, something shaped like a brother flew out. Upon closer inspection, it was a bird with glowing blue-green feathers. It was the first time they had ever seen a bird of this color, and they were amazed. Lunan focused his attention on the bird's feet, for they were adorned with a magical seal. Should not this be used for powerful, strange magical beasts? The bluebird suddenly made a sound. Mashimo Shi. Ashel was so startled that he hugged Lunan. Neo. Lunan looked disgusted. You idiot. That's a kind of long-range communication magic. If I'm not mistaken, it should be the bluebird's owner, and the shadowy figure on the other side is replying through the magic circle. You guessed right. I'm a member of the Phantom Beast Research Institute. This is my blue. He suddenly disappeared. Because the magic circle was shielded, we could not contact him. By the way, who are you? Lunan grabbed Assel, who was trying to escape. We're just helpful citizens passing by. Your bird was kidnapped. We say? After saying that, he severed Bluebird's hand with a single blow. Go back to your master. Lunan's action instantly filled the bluebird with admiration. Then it stuck its rear end in his face. Lunan was dumbfounded. Is this silly bird repaying kindness with injury? The bird's owner promptly explained. The bluebird means for you to pluck one of its feathers, because the bluebird's feathers will permanently point towards the bird's body. He probably wanted to see you again, and when Lunan pulled out the feather, the bluebird sprang into action, disappearing without a trace. The next day, the two of them took the treasure to the market, preparing to sell the treasures in their backpack. Unexpectedly, they were all black-hearted merchants. Finally, they came before an older merchant. He presented the necklace. After a while, the older man gave a fair price. Deal, Lunan happily agreed. Finally met someone who knows his stuff. Thinking back to what the Mediterranean-looking older man said, that this necklace was worth at most 5 gold coins, Lunan got angry. Luckily, I met someone knowledgeable now. Then Lunan sold all the treasures he brought to him. Lunan reached into his pocket. He took out what the blue bird had pulled on his hand when it left. He wanted the old man to help him identify it. Lunan originally thought it was poop. He threw it away with a look of disgust. But this thing actually shattered the stone. Lunan's intuition told him, this thing is definitely extraordinary. The merchant uncle looked at it with surprise. Whoa. This color? This texture? Could be some kind of veneer. Lunan burst out laughing after hearing that. Seeing this, the uncle could only awkwardly smile. Actually, I do not really understand either, Lunan sighed after listening. He put it back in his pocket. He planned to find an expert to appraise it someday. Meanwhile, Assel looked on with a look of disgust. It's still poop as expected. Lunan remembered he still needed to inquire about the Filian Academy's enrollment information, so he asked the old man. The old man shook his head unsure, but the old man's daughter, Maria, was also planning to go there, so they could consult her. She'll be back soon. Lunan was startled after hearing this. The name Maria sounded so familiar. Suddenly a woman said to the old man, what's wrong, Dad? Lunan glanced. What met his eyes was a beautiful woman with long golden hair. Lunan was startled. He walked over to her and said, are you really Maria? The one from Ming Sen? Yes, how did you know? Maria answered nonchalantly. Lunan was dumbfounded after hearing that. The Maria he knew in his past life was clearly a man. Lunan leaned close to his ear and whispered, you're a man, right? So, do have you know down there? Looking down at his own height. Do you have chili peppers? Maria thought for a moment and then understood. His face. Does this guy have a problem with his brain or his eyes? Lunan was still lost in thought. This should not be. No matter how I look at it, he does not look like a man. Could your old man have a secret child? Maria directly slapped him. Maria directly slapped him 10 times. Maria slapped him hard across the face. Dude, and this slap felt incredibly familiar to Ronan. He was now 100% certain that the guy before him was Mary Sen. Count 10 years later. 10 years later? It's been 10 years, Maria, Countess Sen. It's been 10 years, Leah Sen, Countess. Before the time travel, Countess Maria was a supplier to the army. She usually had a gentle and approachable personality. Occasionally, she would drink with the soldiers, but whenever she talked about dick with other men, Luna was very confused at the time. I wondered why she was like that, but I never had the chance. The mystery that had plagued Lunan for so long was finally revealed. It turned out Mary was a girl. Upon learning the truth, Lunan could not help but laugh. But it made Mary even angrier. Damn it, what were you thinking? I was about to give him another slap. Enough, you brat. Enough, you, Kojika's. Because of hitting. Never. And Mary was hit hard. She glared fiercely. What if I insist on fighting again? The two started to fight back and forth, neither willing to yield. This scene left the onlookers dumbfounded. They quickly rushed over. Stop it. Stop fighting. The three of them gathered in the small inn. Kenny doubted, looking at the two guys before him. Two very suspicious. Axel looked at the two guys before him doubtfully. Just now, they were clearly trying to kill each other. Now they are calmly getting along. Then Lunan took out 3 swords and a wand he had bought. Let's see if there's anything wrong with these. Maria picked up the sword and examined it carefully. She took both the sword and a magic wand. She not very sleepy. She could not leave them behind just in case, because Lunan's swordsmanship was extremely brutal. She would break a sword very quickly. Maria considered. They're all pretty good. This black iron is sturdy. No matter how hard you are on the sword, I believe it will not break. Then Maria glanced at the wand again, and found a magic stone inlaid on it. She said to Yan. Then I said to Sel, is this little darling a rare magician? What kind of magic did you use? Asel was overjoyed after hearing this. Telepathy. If you do well, you might get a full scholarship. Is that so? How? Mary then asked them if they had any combat skills to showcase during the practical exam. You did not know. There's a practical exam to enter Filion. You need to impress the professors. Show them your skills. Practical exams are much harder than theoretical ones, especially for those specially admitted, and most nobles who enter will showcase their family's secret techniques. As for ordinary candidate, they will showcase their personal magical combat skills. Must stop. Wait a minute, I'm a sword. Is not being skilled in swordsmanship enough? Can swordsmen also use magic? Maria was speechless after hearing this. Every student who wants to learn from Filion must be able to use magic. What does that expression mean? Do not tell me. You cannot feel any magic? Lunan was completely bewildered. It's about using aura. Those words completely stunned Maria. And you still said you were going to Filion Academy. Let's go outside right now. After saying that, I casually picked up Nan's sword. Use my... What if I break it? Lunan said angrily. I'll pay you triple the price. Do not waste... Come out with me quickly. I'll make you a special test. Mary explained the knowledge of magic to him. Magical power exists in every corner of the world. It is the source of nature's power. First, one must be able to sense magical power before they can use it. Then apply it to every part of the body. Finally, the enhanced power that is manifested is called magic. It usually takes a year to comprehend it. Even though Mary explained it thoroughly, Lona still did not understand. Is not an aura carefully observed just a structure formed by magical power? It's not that an aura is more powerful than magical power. In a gene, it needs at least 10 years to cultivate it to its peak, and after it's open, you will obtain power far more terrifying than magic. That's the difference between the two. Alright, that's all the explanation I'll give. After Maria finished speaking, she instantly rushed in front of Lunan. Then with a slight effort, she blocked Maria's attack. Then with a little effort, she blocked Lilia's attack. Maria froze. She had clearly infused all her magic into the sword. Why was she the one being blocked? But Lunan forcefully stopped her attack. Lunan was also startled. So fast? The extent to which his power increased is incredible. To be able to exert such power at such a young age. Maria originally intended to defeat him in one blow and dissuade him. That's better than being humiliated in the exam. The one who was pushed back. Is this the skill of someone who cannot use magic? Lonan counterattacks. A sword with a flick of the wrist. What are you thinking? Maria barely escaped without breaking a sweat. Almost did not manage to dodge. After backing up several meters, she said, the fruit book. Lunan then put away his sword and prepared to leave. Your swordsmanship is quite talented. It's a pity you did not quite grasp your center of gravity. If you can solve this problem, you'll improve very quickly. Maria raised her sword, unconvinced. Xexahum. What's wrong? Where are you going? Do not tell me. Do not think this means you've won. Lunan account. Regardless, please keep your promise. You said it yourself, did not you? Prepare the price for the sword. The words had just left his mouth when cracks appeared on the sword that had blocked the attack. When exactly was it? And at this time, Asel, who was watching from the side, ran over and touched her. It seemed like something she was used to. Keep. Asel's. My feelings. I understand how you feel. Asli. Asel. Why are you so slow? This guy? Who is he anyway? He does not even have any magic. The next day, Luna not only received enough gold coins to buy 3 swords, but also 2 full level 3 bags of books. Yes, they were the Filian reasoning exam practice books and the heart knots I made. Yes, I made the flashcards and summaries. Merchants are profit-driven. Luna knew very well that merchants are profit-driven. She was looked down upon with contempt, but she had to do it. If you want to spend money, she said, drawing her sword. Mary laughed and said, no need. Completely free. Denari, I'm not playing you. I've fallen for you guys. I just hope we can pass the top together then. After listening, Lunan put away his sword and said, I reluctantly accept it. You must finish reading all these books. I've helped you both so much. If you still do not pass, I'll kill you both. Lunan smiled and said, you should worry about whether you can pass. See you in the capital. Lunan looked down at his hands. In the span of this month, I must strengthen my physical training, because my body is currently too weak. After the farewell, Lunan returned home. From then on, Lunan ate 8 bowls of rice in one sitting. Lunan had 8 bowls of rice. Sister was shocked to see this. He did not stop until his stomach was full. This made his sister extremely happy. Her younger brother finally came to his senses. Late at night, when all was quiet, Lunan went to the outskirts of the village to fight monsters and level up. He began to increase his stamina and adaptability. The time was... Dojin spent his time studying the materials Maria gave him. Lona was quite troubled. What kind of exam is this? He had to learn northern dining etiquette. Although he found it very difficult, he still finished all the materials Maria gave him. In this way, a month quickly passed. Lonan had basically cleared out all the monsters near the village that were harming the villagers. I made an appointment with Aquil too. Lunan made an appointment with Aze. Lunan made an appointment with Asel. Lunan, Bo's Palace-like Academy. The magnificent academy, truly astonished Asel. Staring intently. He stared intent. Asel, what are you doing? Showing off your hick identity. Milo. Right? Asel looked at Milo and stopped. In the month, in this, he seems to have grown a lot. Then we do not be dazed. And his age should be about the same as mine. Known as the strongest swordsman, Sword Saint Shilla. I might meet him in the test. Maybe I'll meet him during the trial. The boy just made a simple attack, but it shocked the academy professors for 100 years. An 80-meter-long leg suddenly stepped onto the judge's table. Then it charged towards the boy at 150 meters per second. In just 0 seconds. A 50-meter-long sword was placed at the boy's neck. At that time, the sword was only 0.01 centimeters from Lunan's throat. I thought a beautiful female professor from the academy had taken a liking to Nan Lu, but unexpectedly the professor asked, your swordsmanship. Who did you learn it from? Lunan remained. It turned out that Lunan had participated in the academy's entrance examination today. This morning, Arcel and Ronan, who had just arrived in the imperial capital, were extremely bored, reminded by a... Ronan remembered the blue bird's egg he had saved. Its owner was also in the imperial capital. He then took out a blue bird feather. Following the direction it indicated, he surprisingly discovered it was in the Filian Academy. Meanwhile, in a room on the top floor of the academy building, the blue bird seemed to sense its feather approaching. It flew onto the lion, chirping incessantly. It seemed to want him to open the window. The lion was Professor of Zoology Filian Vanna. Vanna seemed to understand its meaning. He walked over and opened the window. Suddenly a grotesque face appeared. It scared the lion speechless, who roared, "Ghost!" At this moment, Lunan, cunning like the nosy neighbor next door, said, "I do not know why you suddenly opened the window." Vanna quickly stepped back, frightened, and hugged the blue bird tightly. "Who are you?" "This is the top floor. How did you get up here?" Lunan nonchalantly dug his ears and said, "You scared. You almost deafened me." Assel also climbed in through the window, complaining, "That's why I said we should have used the stairs," Warner said, trembling. "Are you here to rob me, seduce me, or steal my bird?" Then Roland took out a feather. Seeing the feather in Roland's hand, Warner said, "Wait, a hero. I behaved so inappropriately in front of a hero. Please forget." Vanna immediately invited the two to sit down. Vanna apologized again. However, Lone shamelessly said, "You feel sorry." Actually, Assel is also responsible. After all, it was his idea to climb in through the window. Assel did not expect Roland to be so shameless. "Huh. It was Ronan who told me to use telepathy. Because the stairs are annoying." Before he finished speaking, Luna pinched Assel's cheek and said, "Quiet. I did not expect the bird's owner to be a lion person, and Professor Filian at that." Van replied awkwardly, "I did not expect it either. Our hero is actually an applicant. If I had known, I could have written you a letter of recommendation, but it's starting today. It's too late. You really fail." Then, Luna did not care and said, Very good. Since we're all here, I have some questions for you, you know. We do not have much time." Then he took out a cun egg and asked questioningly, "What is it?" This was laid by the blue bird. Marin adjusted her glasses, saying in surprise, "This is a bluebird egg? Is this a dream bird's egg?" Luna looked completely bewildered. "What's wrong? Is it strange for a bird to lay an egg?" Malin said with a serious expression. "It's not just any bird. It's a dream bird. I do not know what will hatch from this egg. Luna was even more confused. What are you talking about? A bird egg does not hatch into a chicken. You're too beautiful. Marin shook her head and denied it after listening. The egg of the legendary dream bird. Naturally, it's not an ordinary egg. If it absorbs fire attribute magic, it might hatch a fire phoenix. If it's in a monster's nest, it might also manifest as a monster. After careful observation, Marin said in horror, I see countless kinds of magic inside this egg, entwined with each other, chasing each other, like mole metal. Lona was stunned after hearing this. Oh, he truly is a professor. He can actually give so many meanings to a single egg. Marin's expression turned serious. I think you should keep this egg and take good care of it. It's incredibly precious. A dream bird can only lay one egg in its lifetime, but the dream bird chose to lay it in your hand. We should respect it. Can you accept it? The bluebird chirped, seemed to agree with Marin. Luna took the egg back. I've never seen such a shameless bird laying eggs just anywhere. I have no object. I also want to know what will hatch from it. Time's almost... We've completed our task for this trip, so we should... Luna stood up to leave, but was stopped by Malin. Malin quickly took a scroll from the cabinet. This is for you. It can help you hatch the eggs. Both of them were completely baffled. After a while, they arrived at the Filian Assessment Building, martial artist applicant waiting area. Candidate number 111's exam has ended. Please have candidate number 112 prepare to enter. Number 113, I'm next. Lunan complained listlessly to Maria. Zibao has been waiting for almost a year. Still not his turn, but Maria does not think it's a big deal. Exams are always like this. But it would be nice if our little darling Assel were here. It would not be so boring. He's a magician. Testing elsewhere. I really want to see her cry during the assessment. While they were chatting, the examiner called out Lunan's number. Lunan calmly stood up and walked over. Maria teased. Do not be nervous. Just do as... If you fail, do not come out. Luna waved his hand nonchalantly. I understand. Thank you for your heartfelt support. Turning around, he showed a determined expression and said, I'll be right back. Entering the examination hall, 5 examiners came into view. The one in the middle was the principal, the Grand Mage. Next to him is the swordsmanship instructor, the female sword saint. Ordinary people would feel immense pressure just standing before them, but Lunan calmly bowed. I'm a Lunan, the dean said sternly. Hello. Your opponent in this exam is a magical dummy. You can freely demonstrate your skills. So what have you decided to show us? Lunan calmly replied. Nothing special, just a normal attack. The dean and the professor beside him questioned. Just a normal attack. The professors were discussing amongst themselves. He does not even have magic. He thinks he can just chop the dummy apart with a normal attack. What ignorant young punk is this? Professor Mao echoed. A country bumpkin from some remote village? No wonder he does not know. This is a magic-made dummy. Not only is his defense amazing, and possesses the ability to regenerate quickly, even Shu Life, hailed as a genius swordsman, could barely leave a single scratch on it. As the two were laughing, Lunan suddenly struck a pose. An aura of power emanated from him. The female sword saint's gaze was captivated. In a breath, Luna finished the basic attack. I finished demonstrating. Watching the dummy remain completely still, the two professors continued to laugh, but the principal noticed something and froze. He broke into a cold sweat. Suddenly the female swordsman stepped onto the judge's table, then rushed towards the boy at high speed. He held the sword to the boy's neck and questioned him. Swordsmanship? Who did you learn this from? The boy used the simplest horizontal slash. The beautiful female professor from the academy immediately offered to take him as her apprentice. It turned out that the boy was having a practical exam today. It seemed that Lunan the boy only swung his sword once, but in reality it was 3 strikes. He even slowed down the speed of his final strike. It was this action that enraged Nabaleth, the female sword saint present. Swordsmanship? Who did you learn that from? But Luna remained calm. You scared? Who? Nabros repeated it. Luna was puzzled. What are you talking about? No one taught me. So Nabros changed the question. Did you see my movements just now? Yes. You're amazing. At the moment of the final sprint, you must have found it very difficult to draw your sword, but you drew and swung it 3 times. Neighborhood's expression hardened upon hearing the answer. 3 times. Just as you showed us. Suddenly angry, she changed the subject. Arrogant fellow. Do you think I do not know? Your pathetic swordsmanship. You deliberately slowed down the final strike, in case we missed it. Just as you considered. The dean was incredibly embarrassed at this moment. Professor Huangma and Professor Zima were instantly speechless. Luna was completely speechless after hearing this. There seems to be a misunderstanding. I only adjusted my strength, because my sword could not withstand the final blow. Look at her now. Even if I say so, she would not believe me. Seeing that Lonan did not react, Naburo sheathed her sword and slowly walked back to her seat. I remember you. A sudden look. I'll teach you personally later. Have returning to her seat, she was still thinking about. The dean looked at the person she was thinking about, Nabalos. Completely speechless. It sounds like she considers Lunan her disciple now. Then he smiled and said to Lunan, Good job, Lunan. Finally, one last common question to end your test. What do you hope to gain by coming to the Filian Academy? Lunan looked at the dean, unable to give a definite answer. Past memories began to surface in his mind. Then he said firmly, "To leave without regrets." The principal was startled by the answer. I understand. Alright, you can leave now." Watching Lunan leave. "No regrets?" The principal smiled. "That would be quite troublesome. I do not know how I should teach him any more." Looking at the laughing principal, the blonde professor beside him was completely dumbfounded. "What happened?" First Professor Nebulos. "And now you—" "Principal, what did that boy do to make you two like this? Did he pull some trick?" The principal simply replied, "A trick, or more accurately a talent." Before he finished speaking, the magic dummy's helmet, which had been slashed by Luan Amping, suddenly cracked and fell off. Professor Huang Mao and Professor Zimao were instantly shocked for 100 years. You must know that until now, no one has ever left a mark on the dummy. Leaving the examination room, Lunan stood there blankly, recalling what just happened. That sword-wielding professor, even if it were my past self, I could not guarantee I could defeat her. This academy is full of hidden masters. Seems I still have a long way to go. Ganaphilion was the right choice, Commander. I can learn a lot here. Now it's only the written exam. I've been memorizing this stuff for a month. So easy. Then I walked towards the written exam location. After Lunan finished the exam, he was completely dumbfounded. What the heck kind of questions are these? I'm gonna fail. This is completely screwed. My luck has always been this bad. Mario was speechless at his appearance. He could not even answer half the exam questions. What? Did he read the book I gave him? What is this guy doing? Did not he spend a whole month reading the book I gave him? So next to him spoke hesitantly. That, you gave him 2 books. One is for the martial artist course, and the other is for the magician course. He seems to have taken the magician's one. Mario was stunned with anger after hearing that. Oh, is there really such a fool as him? Asal almost cried, wanting to take the blame again. It's my fault. If I had asked him, this would not have happened. Mario saw Lonan being so negative after the exam. She raised Lonan's hands high to comfort him. Okay. Stop complaining. The practical exam carries more weight. I believe you'll be fine. Suddenly, the magic circle in the examination building activated. The list of those who passed the exam and their scores were projected into the sky. Everyone quickly and intently stared. They eagerly hoped to see their names appear. Asr passed. Practical exam 2nd place, written exam 1st place. Maria passed. Practical exam 9th place, written exam 9th place. The two of them glanced at each other after seeing the results. After 2.5-second pause, they happily hugged each other. We passed. Look, you got 1st place in the written exam, although it was a 3-way tie. But Sweethert, you were amazing. Asel could only chuckle foolishly at the praise. I was just lucky. Then Maria turned and asked Lonan. Lonan was struck like a bolt from the blue, and unable. Both were astonished. Impossible. Open your eyes wider and look again. Lunan's face was ashamed. I've already watched it 99 times. Just then, an explosion suddenly came from behind. Light illuminated the academy. A phoenix soared into the air and let out a long cry. It turned out that this phoenix heralded the grand final ceremony for the 1st place winner of this exam. Suddenly, a jet of flame flew straight towards Lunan. Lunan was dumbfounded. After the flames exploded, several large characters appeared before Lunan. Lunan graded. Practical exam 1st place, written exam 5712th place. The 3 of them hesitated for a moment. 2 of them happily hugged Lunan. That's great. Whoa. For someone theoretically ranked 5712th, you're the number 1 in martial arts? Amazing. Lunan. I knew Lunan was a genius. Lunan smiled awkwardly. Suddenly I thought of something terrifying. If I were number 1, this means a guy is behind me. It's not good. Lunan instantly felt a chilling killing intent from behind. The boy was the strongest sword saint on the continent in his previous life. Now he's lost to an unknown nobody from a remote town. But he did not know that this nobody was actually a time traveler. Then he came looking for trouble unsatisfied. The surrounding crowd gathered to watch the show. Is not that Shu Lufan the rising star of the empire? I thought he was a shoo-in for 1st place in this exam. Lunan, it seems like he wants to talk to you. He does not seem to be in a good mood. Lunan felt embarrassed. This kid is still as troublesome as ever. His unyielding spirit, his inability to tolerate anyone better at swordsmanship than himself. I need to find excuse. Lunan could only feign ignorance and smile. I do not know why I'm first either. Is there a mistake? But Shilifan stared intently at Lunan. Why are you lying? Lunan had a perfunctory expression. I'm an honest. Do you have any evidence? Shu Lifan's face. Evidence? Shu Lifan suddenly drew her sword and attacked Lunan with lightning speed. This is the evidence. If you were not number 1, you would not have been able to parry my sword. The onlookers gasped in shock. This is a showdown. Shu Lifan stared firmly at Lunan. Then let me see what qualifies you to take 1st place. Lunan responded angrily. You madman. Here come. That's what you want. Before the words were finished, Lunan quickly swung his sword at Shilifan. Shilifan hurriedly parried it. Lunan retreated and immediately launched 3 sword intents at Shilifan. See? Happy now? You bastard. Shilifan looked at her hand that had blocked the sword intents. It was still trembling uncontrollably. In an instant, she sprang up and swung her sword at Lunan. So you do have what it takes to win 1st place. But that's not enough to defeat me. Tell me everything you're hiding. Lunan looked at her helplessly. You're crazy. Shilifan became even more frantic. She unleashed a meteor half-moon slash, striking heavily at Lunan. It cannot. Lunan is so. That's why I do not want to see him. This idiot. Is he trying to die? Damn it. This would not. He started manipulating the aura. Shilifan gripped her 40-meter-long sword tightly. Streams of terrifying sword intent circled Shilifan, forming the storm sword. I cannot freaking take it anymore. Seeing this, Lunan ran away. Chopin, seeing this, angrily chased after Lunan to attack. Run so. Are you Teachio? Lunan grabbed Israel's shoulder. Israel was dumbfounded as usual. Lunan, why did you grab my heart? Shilifan shouted angrily. Bag of yarrow? You coward. You actually use a woman as a shield. Assel was speechless. Is it possible? Then I'm a boy. Lunan chuckled, scheming. Assel, you the support. You need to protect the damage dealer. Before he finished speaking, Lunan, this cunning fellow, landed a heavy punch on Shu Lifan's face. Looking at Shu Lifan, her face drooping, Lunan turned his head. Now's the chance. Axel. Maria. Run. Before Shu Lifan could react, Lunan grabbed Azer and Maria's hands and quickly jumped away. Seeing the commotion here, the Imperial Guard arrived. I heard someone was fighting. Is not that Mr. Shu Lifan? Who dares to do this to you? Tell me what he looks like. As the Royal Guard. We'll definitely find him. Shilifan wipes her injured mouth. Please do not talk nonsense. I'm not acting as royalty right now. Please treat me as an ordinary person. That was just a fair fight. I'll handle myself. Shilifan brushed the dust off her clothes. She inadvertently noticed a crack on her sword. This was a sword made of the highest grade mithril. Thinking back carefully, it had cracked when she blocked Lunan's 3-sword intents. Initially she thought his swordsmanship was ordinary, but he had actually wielded an ordinary sword with such amazing power. Shilifan sneered at this thought. Interesting. I remember your name. Lunan. The next day, in the suburbs of the capital Sujiang Forest, Lunan and Azer used the map Professor Valen gave them to search for treasure. Azer was still shaken by yesterday's events, muttering incessantly. Lunan, can we really do this? Lunan looked doubtful. Huh. Do what? Assel looked worried. I'm talking about the guy you fought yesterday. I heard he's the heir to the Grand Duke's family. That's a prominent family second only to the Imperial family. You broke his nose? What if he retaliated? But Lunan was very calm. Don't worry. He's a good person. He's just obsessed with swords. He has his own principle. He likes to help the weak. He's a perfect epitome of a noble. He would definitely say yesterday was just a fair duel. If he had not said so, we would have been in jail long ago. Assel took a deep breath. But on second thought, that's true. Lunan cut him off. Now our task is to find the ley line. I think we found it. Professor Valen told us about the ley line. Fernando Spring. Magic wanders the world. Some places gather the magic into a pool, forming a ley line. Because of its existence, surrounding matter will absorb its magical power. Ordinary rocks will become the highest grade stones, and ordinary weed will become a magical herb. It's fair to say its value is astronomical. Most people, if they discovered it, would keep it all to themselves. That professor is very generous. To help me hatch an egg, they gave us something so good. What do you think? Assel, how does it feel? Assel tried casting a spell and was surprised. This is the first time I've felt so much magic concentrated in one place. It's like a moving spring. Casting spells here does not consume any mana, and there's a magic bonus. Assel suddenly noticed the egg in Lunan's pocket. It's frantically absorbing the magic here. It seems the magic here is very pure. If only Mary were here, she would definitely love it here. If she were not busy with the family business, she would have come with us. What a pity. Assel belatedly realized how eerily quiet this place was. Lunan, did not you find it strange? Professor Valen warned us. The magic vein attracts many strange species to build nests here, but why have not we seen even a shadow? As Assel pointed out, Lunan just realized something was wrong. Damn. Shit. Why does this always happen to me wherever I go? Such bad. Get ready. Assel. The air is thick with the smell of blood. Countless dark figures are lurking in the shadows of the deep forest. The boy disguised himself as the name he hated most. He even tricked and killed the most notorious criminal organization on the mainland. Just now, Lunan and Arsel found the magic spring. They noticed the eerie silence around them. Lunan smiled faintly. It seems there are guests who arrived before us. 5 men in the shadows of the woods drew their bows. A hidden arrow suddenly shot out from the woods. 4 more followed closely behind. Just as the arrows were about to reach Lunan, Lunan quickly drew his sword and swung. The 5 arrows were instantly cut in half. Seeing the arrowheads, Lunan was flooded with memories. Before the time travel, an elite member of my squad was using this type of arrow. He was previously a member of a notorious organization. I also learned about this organization from him. It was the Karabora organization that hunted the blue bird before. This arrow is powerful enough to blow off a demonic beast's head. He had successfully used this arrow to poach over 100 times, but I despised his action. After regaining consciousness, Lunan glared at them with killing intent. Assel, find somewhere to hide. Be careful. Do not get shot into a hedgehog. Wait for me a moment, I'll be right back. The 5 members of the Karabora organization were startled. Damn, he cut all the enchanted arrows at once? Watching Loon charge rapidly. Surprised, the purple-haired man quickly made a decision. Who the hell is he? Damn it. Ever spread out. We must surround and attack him. Seeing this, Luna felt a sense of foreboding. He instantly devised a plan. He shouted loudly, "Stop your attack. Do not shoot." Friendly fire. I'm alive. Zemo looked puzzled. Ally. What the hell are you talking about? Lunan. What? Have not you heard? I'm the youngest detective dog in the Darius branch. Ah, hi, Ute. The Karabora organization surrounded them. Are you really a scout dog? Do you think we're fools? A little kid like you being a scout dog? If you say you're low level, we might believe you. However, Lone responded calmly. Why do not you believe me? If you really do not believe me, you can ask your leader Wolf. Just because you cannot reach this level does not mean I cannot. Wow, brother. Calm down. Otherwise your end will be terrible. Nothing could be more pathetic. Purple Hair instantly flew into a rage, grabbing Lunan by the collar. You bastard. How dare you humiliate me? Should I chop off your limbs? Seeing this, Purple Hair's teammate quickly tried to stop him. Calm down. Just because he's a child. You suspect? He knows about our Caliburo ranking system. Only those within our inner circle are aware. Let's confirm with the captain first. If you kill him, it might cause a conflict with the Damascus branch. Just then, a burly menacing man emerged from the woods. I told you to stay quiet and squat in the grass. Always on What's going on now? Everyone saw this man. Captain. Just in time, Captain. I've got an earful. Seeing this person, Lunan is certain that there are more than just these small fry here. There may be many more Caliburo organization members hidden here, the Caliburo captain asked. Hey kid, are you hired from the Damas branch? Lona nodded in agreement. Strange. What brings you here? This mountain range is considered to belong to Caliburo. Luna smiled in response. Really? I do not. Changing the subject, because I'm not a Hayut. Luna cut the 4 small Karamis in half with one sword. The purple-haired one and the man were shocked. Lunan smiled and quickly attacked him. I just used what I thought was the most ridiculous name. It's the best name for pretending. After all, he's a damn jerk too. The man's head flew off instantly. The purple-haired man froze in place. Lunan calmly turned his head. Hey, brother, your end would be terrible. As soon as he finished speaking, Zimao's 5 fingers were instantly severed. He looked at his severed fingers in fear, screaming out in pain. My finger? Lunan calmly gave him a map. If you do not want to be killed, draw all the branch locations you know on this for me. If you do not, I'll have no reason to keep you alive. The purple-haired man was scared out of his wits. I'll do anything, but I do not have any drawing tools. Seeing the scene, Lunan, that old fox, let out a sly smile. I made you a pen. Draw with your right hand. In a short while, Zimao had finished drawing the map. It's not bad. Very talented. See Zimao. Thank you. Spare me. Lunan immediately stuffed the map into his pocket. Hut, what? Never said. A surprise attack with a blade. The purple fur split in 2. Lunan watched him impassively. Of course. The boy's unique kun egg successfully hatched. It had absorbed the blood of all the animals in the entire forest. What emerged from the egg was a cute, little black creature. Just now, after Luna wiped out Karaboro's small squad, he followed the scent of blood and found the slaughtered animals. Seeing the corpses scattered everywhere, Asafat almost vomited. He looked at the piles of corpses with a sorrowful expression. Those bastards from Karaboro. What exactly are they trying to do? Luna knew very well. I told letting them live is a crime. They're all wanted criminals who deserve to be executed. Looking at the little bird on the bloodstain, Luna fell into thought. If Professor Valen saw this, he would be heartbroken. After a while, just as Luna was about to leave, Lunan's bag suddenly vibrated. What's going on? Why suddenly? Before he finished speaking, Assel's fate. What is that? Lunan glanced at it. He widened his eyes in surprise. He saw the blood from the body slowly rising drop by drop, finally gathered into a vortex. Suddenly a wave of blood formed and quickly rushed towards Lunan. Assel was startled and terrified. Lunan quickly drew his sword to defend. Damn it, what the hell is this? Just then, Kundan flew out of Lunan's pocket. Flying towards the oncoming wave of blood, Kundan continuously absorbed the blood. Assel was so scared that he quickly hid behind Lunan. Lunan. What happened? Lunan looked on resolutely. I do not. I only know one thing. This kun egg seems to like blood very much. After a while, the kun egg actually absorbed all the blood. Lunan calmly watched it. It seems nothing has changed. Before the words finished, a crack appeared on the kun egg. Crack? As asterisk. A small hole appeared. The egg cracked. Lunan looked at it with anticipation on his face. Yes, it looks like it's about to hatch. Let's see what this priceless kun egg will hatch. Just as Lunan was excited, he was punched hard in the face. Lunan covered his face. What is it? Suddenly a pair of wings unfolded in the air. I saw a small black creature with wings and dog ears flying in the air. Baby. Luna and Azer were embarrassed. No matter how I look at it, it's not a bird. Does it look like a dragon? That should not be the case. These are bluebird eggs. Where exactly does it get its energy from? Luna stroked its cheek with a finger, but it still looks quite cute. Suddenly remembered I just got punched. Angrily said to it, "You little guy, you punched me right after you were born. Is not your greeting a little too much? I want to punch you too." The little guy seems to understand him. Closing his eyes tightly, he softly chants an incantation. A magic circle appears, flying towards Luna. Luna's injured cheek instantly heals. Luna's this time. Assel looked at it with envy. Whoa, it seems this little guy has healing abilities. The little guy proudly nuzzled against Luna's cheek. Is Luna? Oh my god, this little guy. It seems to know a lot. Assel also overjoyed. Luna, it seems to really like you. We cannot keep calling it Dream Bird, can we? Let's give it a name. I wonder what good name to give it. Just as the two were naming it, the little fellow seemed to sense something unusual around it. Its eyes wide. Before Luna and the other could react, it flew swiftly in one direction. However, Luna remained calm. It seemed to sense something. At this time, a sixth player, crouching in the bushes and witnessing everything, was trying to leave quietly, but was found by the little creature. What the heck is this thing? Scared, he fell to the ground. The little guy glared at Laoliu and chanted a spell. Blood flew out of Laoliu's body. Laoliu was terrified. Blood. My blood? Help me? Lunan rushed over. Stop. Enough, Xida. You'll kill him. Assel looked curiously. Xida. Is that its name? Loan watched the little creature obediently fly back into his hand. Yes, that's the name. The little guy nodded happily. It seemed quite satisfied with the name. Lally looked at them in surprise. This child, is he the master of this monster? Who exactly is... Lunan then remembered Laliu, who had been captured. Are you right, Boris? Lally was scared stiff. Thanks to you. I'm still out. Thank you so much. Lally, having recovered his senses, looked puzzled. How did you know my name? A Sorshpash. Lunan already has his sword at Lely's neck. You do not need to know. I just did not expect to meet you like this. Anyway, I was glad to meet you before. You witnessed what just happened, right, Calibor Detective? Boris. Lally was dumbfounded again. What? Detective Dog. I have not reached that level yet. I'm just a Lolian dog. Lunan did not mind this. Is that... Maybe your level was low at that time? Anyway, you have to help me with something. Lunan smiled, his face a picture of calculation. Oh yeah, that's not exactly helping. The director snapped his fingers, and the sky shattered. The entrance ceremony instantly turned into a duel. The freshmen were all greatly surprised. 2 days before the start of school, Lunan found his teammate from their past battles. Boris of the Caribor Demi squad. Lunan took out the blood-drawn map and sent him to infiltrate other squads to gather more information. Barris could only obediently comply. Lona smiled cunningly. The demon messenger just sucked your blood and made a blood pact with you. I'll do anything. Betraying the promise will lead to a violent death. Please spare me. Barris was terrified. I swear I will never betray you, and I will not reveal any information about you. The blood pact was a lie hastily fabricated by Lunan, but Barris believed it. After giving instructions, the two returned to Phenol Lake. They collected the magical veins. They did not leave until nightfall. Back in the Imperial capital, Lunan immediately found Maria's father to make a deal. In the end, Lunan made a killing. Nice. It sold for more than I expected. After completing the transaction, Lunan is going to thank Professor Valen and let him see it. Arriving at Valen's door, he found a sign hanging there. He's on a business trip. What a pity. I was hoping to thank him and ask him some questions. The two of them could only go home. Arslan asked curiously. Lonan, what was your ranking in the entrance examination? You can get a scholarship and have your tuition waived, so I would not need tuition and living expenses anymore. Then what are you planning to do with the money? Is there anything you want to do? Luna fell into thought. Is there anything you want to do? The entrance ceremony is coming soon. The next day, a carriage stopped in front of the station. Miss, you have arrived at your destination. The woman looked hurried. All right. Thank you. The woman got out and looked around. Her eyes wide. Whoa, this is the Imperial capital. So bustling. You must be tired from your trip, sister. Lunan, while I was gone, nothing major happened, right? Lunan's face is serious. That's something I should be asking. Do you know how surprised I was to see such a luxurious carriage parked in front of our house? And then, hearing that it was sent by your younger brother, I was truly shocked. It's impossible. You do not even have any money. Why have you lost so much weight? Are you eating well? Are you eating properly? Do not worry, I'm eating well. The older sister suddenly noticed Sita. She looked at it questioningly. Oh my, what is this little thing? So cute. Lunan explained. He's my friend. I do not have time for catching up. I still have a lot to do. Sister, we need to hurry. Lunan immediately grabbed his sister's hand and left. Scene change. At the high-class clothing store, Lunan looked at his sister in her new clothes. As expected, everything suits you. My sister felt awkward. No. This looks expensive. But Lunan said to the shop assistant, wrap it all up for me. My sister was dumbfounded. Everything? So many. It's not that much, is it? You suffered so much for me. It's time for you to enjoy yourself. The older sister was moved to tears after hearing this. My younger brother, you've grown up. The older sister playfully shouted. Everyone look here. My younger brother is so kind and filial. Luna felt extremely embarrassed after hearing this. He chased after his sister, begging her to move back. After the siblings finished bickering, Luna took her to get weapons. As soon as they opened the door and left, Shilafin appeared with a calm expression. Did you finally fix it? Luna was speechless. What the fuck? Where did you come from? Are you a stalker? It's because you broke my sword. I'm here to pick up my new sword. Suddenly a dramatic change of expression. I happen to see you. So wait. Luna stared intently. You're a stalker? You started it first. You crazy bastard. I have not settled the score with you yet. Saying this, he drew his sword, ready for a fight. Sliffin was not to be outdone. Just as the two were on the verge of a conflict, Lunan's sister stood in front of him. Lunan, I told you not to use full language. Do not cause trouble. Sliffin felt ashamed. I'm sure my younger brother is blunt and swore, but he's a kind child. Sliffin was startled. Seeing his reaction, Lunan's older sister thought he did not believe her. You find it hard to believe, right? It's all my fault. I have not disciplined him enough. Please forgive my brother. Actually, Shilafin saw her. Her eyes were captivated. Shilafin's heart fluttered. Shilafin blushed. It's nothing. All this is because I was not careful enough. Everything that happened is my responsibility. So please do not worry. My sister was incredibly grateful. Oh my golly. How could you be so kind? She excitedly grabbed Shilafin's hand. To think that Lunan has a friend like you? I'm so... Then please take good care of my brother. And so Shilafin fell for him. I will compensate him for the cost of his sword. But I do not have any gold right now. So please accept this instead. Saying this, I handed Sister Lonan a pure gold token. With this, you can go to the royal swordsmith to have a good sword made. This is my family's identification. You can use it anywhere in the empire. After saying that, I shyly left. Lunan was startled. That crazy... Does he know what he's doing? Was that really the sword Saint Shirafin? The next day. Filian Academy entrance ceremony. Glad to see you all. New students of the 787th class. I'm Claridel, the headmaster of the Filian Academy. Your passing the Academy's assessment speaks volumes about your considerable abilities and potential. With your overflowing talent and the Academy's cultivation, I believe you will all be recorded in the Empire's history in the future. Lona yawned boredly. His older sister looked at Lonan with a look of relief. Finally, congratulations again on your arrival. The 787th year freshman. The words had just left his mouth. The dean snapped his fingers. Silvery blue and purple magic shot through the crowd. The freshman stared in shock at the sky. The sky was shattered. Moments later, the scene instantly transformed into a dueling arena. Lunan finally reacted. It was teleportation magic. The dean seemed to have a hidden agenda. Let's begin the meeting between the upperclassmen and the new students. Upon enrollment, the boy challenged the 4 strongest geniuses of the previous year, but he only wanted to prove to his sister that he would not be bullied. After Dean snapped his fingers, the enrollment ceremony instantly transformed into a duel arena. Every year, freshmen undergo education by upperclassmen. The top 2 students from the entrance exam will face off against the top students in their second year. It's a one-on-one duel. This is a tradition at Filian. Challenges can be issued anytime, anywhere. Practical combat will allow you to grow quickly. You freshmen can choose your opponents. You can also refuse a duel. New student representatives, please do not feel pressured. Lunan was furious after hearing that. He was beating around the bush. Basically, they'll all be beaten by the seniors. The sophomores sent their strongest martial arts student. Number 1 ranked Nasser. Number 2 ranked Ross 66. 3rd place. 4th place. Big Ross looked at Lonan and the other with amused interest. Marshal Major, so these 2 are this year's stars? The Imperial Rising Star, Shilafane and Lonan, who beat him in the exam. Oh my god, I cannot hold it in. I really want to see them fight. Lonan was speechless. Looking at my older sister's worried face on the stage, made a decision. Since the situation is developing in this direction, I can use this battle to show my sister that I would not be bullied around, right? Since I can freely choose my opponent. I then beckoned the headmaster to ask a question. Excuse me, may I make a request? Yes. What is your request, Lunan? Since we can freely choose our opponents, I would like to be defeated by my respected seniors. The sophomore prodigy glared at him. The dean was shocked for a moment. Then he convened a discussion with the other professors. Professor Nabaru, what do you think of Ronan's request? I think we can let him try. Is not the principle of Filian College the winner takes all? It will be an unprecedented miracle, and it will be recorded in the annals of the Academy. The dean pondered for a while. He's in mortal danger. I will intervene. Then try. The dean announced his approval of the request. 4 sophomore geniuses are staying in Lunan during the deadly time. Absurd. He really does not know his place. Does he think he can do whatever he wants? Just because he's ranked number 1. But the blonde boy frowned and tried to persuade them. We should use this opportunity to let everyone see what's untouchable. He's arrogant, but his skills are definitely more refined than Shu Lifen's. We cannot underestimate him. Therefore, we gave it our all from the start. Understand? Before the words even left his mouth, the four of them, full of fighting spirit, emit a terrifying aura. Seeing this from the audience, the older sister was worried sick. She shouted to Lunan, "It's dangerous. You need to report it to Lunan right away." "Right, okay. If there's danger, you must give it up immediately." Understand? But Lunan did not seem to care and beckoned her. At this time, the dean formally announced, "The first match. Freshman Lunan versus top 4 geniuses of sophomore year. Begin." As soon as the words left his mouth, the furious blonde launched a rapid attack. He unleashed a swift, deadly blow. Lunan leaned back to evade the attack. He's got some skills. She's several levels stronger than Maria back then. Does not that mean the other 4 are at this level too? Lunan dodged while the furious girl launched a second attack. Lunan swung his sword, parrying the double-bladed attack. The blue-haired one suddenly appeared behind the girl, powering up a strike towards Lunan. Seeing the gunpoint so close to my face, I quickly blocked it with my sword and retreated dozens of meters. Their teamwork is also very good. Suddenly, a tall and burly man appeared behind me wielding a heavy sword. He raised it high and angrily shouted, "Why did you do this, Lunan? What I want is a more intense one-on-one duel with you." Before the words left his mouth, the heavy sword slashed quickly towards Lunan. Lunan's eyes flashed the moment the sword fell. Their skills are very high, a swift and powerful strike, and the encirclement from behind. Now's the chance. Lunan flashed. He dodged all the attacks. Everyone was startled. How can he be so fast? An alpha. The 3 besiegers were hit. Their swords were shattered. The burly man dodged the attack and quickly leaped up. "You're amazing." He swung his blade at Lunan, but Lunan remained calm and unhurried. "I should have crushed your fighting spirit long ago. I will be considerate to the very end." He took a step back. He gripped his sword hilt, gathering his strength. He looked at him with determination. The big man was stunned. "Damn. This aura." Professor Nibiros. Lunan suddenly smiled. A dash, 3 swords in a second. Only the sound of cracking was heard. The greatsword shattered instantly. The big guy looked on in surprise. The confident boy never looked back. Lunan looked around triumphantly. "I've learned a lot. Not bad." The boy defeated the 4 geniuses from the previous year, but a beautiful freshman girl in the audience resented him for stealing the spotlight. She came looking for him, unhappy with the outcome. With the treasure as a reward, she asked the boy to complete her challenge request. Just now, Lunan defeated the 4 geniuses from the previous competition in one fell swoop. The audience was stunned after seeing the final blow. The moment Ross was knocked down, cheers erupted from the audience. "Whoa, what's with that freshman? I thought he was going to lose. He defeated his opponent in the blink of an eye. Is he really a first-year student? What a monstrous prodigy." The sisters in the audience could not contain their excitement, grabbing the clothes of the person next to them. "Look, that's my younger brother. He should not be bullied at school anymore, right?" The 4 geniuses looked at the weapons shattered in their hands. Where on earth did he come from? He's too strong. Whoa. The cheers from the audience were one-sided, and I admit defeat. "Well done." Luna humbly saluted them. "Thank you. You're very strong. I learned a lot. I challenge you all at the same time, because I was too excited to have just enrolled. I sincerely thank you for accepting my challenge." Mary and Assel were stunned. "What is Ronan saying? So arrogant." Ronan bowed. "Please forgive my rudeness today. I look forward to your further guidance in the future." The 3 geniuses looked at each other. The awkwardness was palpable. Suddenly Ross happily hugged them. "I think I misjudged you. You're not only strong, but also very polite." Excitedly grabbing Lunan's hand, raising it high and cheering. "But you do not need to be so humble. You fought fairly and won with your own abilities. Self-confident. This is what a Philian student should be like." "That's great, Lunan. You were amazing." My sister was so moved by this scene that she cried. "My Lunan, he's grown up." At this moment, a beautiful new female student in the audience watched silently, smiling secretly. "This boy is interesting." The scene, Philian Academy in the night sky. In the Academy's dining hall, the 3 of them are enjoying the Academy's enrollment banquet. Lunan saw so many people dining together for the first time. The scene was so overwhelming. Mary, however, remained very calm. "After all, this is the best academy. It's perfectly normal. Do not you think so?" Lunan nodded in agreement. At this time, Essel curiously asked Lunan, "Did your older sister go back?" "Yes." Lunan blushed, recalling yesterday's scene of seeing his sister off, and it took me a while to reassure her. "Your friends, and because she always worries so much about me. Do not fight with your friends." She even reminded me before she left. "Do not fight, do not miss any meals. Do not forget to write. Do not fight with your friends." I also let my handsome Sita protect her. This way I do not have to worry about her safety. You're a truly amazing brother. Of course. Just as Lunan picked up a chicken leg and took a bite, the stalker Shilafin appeared behind him like a ghost. "Can you really eat with peace of mind now?" Lunan turned his head silently, angrily stomped his foot. "Why could I? What the heck? Why are you here? What are you trying to do this time?" It's okay. I just wanted to ask something important. Something important? Yes. Where does that girl live? Is it far from you? What's the traffic like on the way home? Will she be bullied? Luna was speechless. What? Wait. Sleefen, however, looked serious. Is that girl a companion you hired? Did you arrange for someone to escort her back? I've already arranged everything. You bastard. Do not you worry about it. Unless a dragon appears who could possibly intercept it. Sleefen looked angry after hearing that. What? So if a dragon appears, they'll die. Luna angrily pointed at him. Enough, you crazy bastard. Why do you care so much about my sister? Are you her husband? Sleefen blushed. He stood like a child who had done something wrong. I'm just worried. About a girl I happen to know. It's a knight's duty. Just as the two were arguing, a figure emanating a faint purple magic passed through the dining hall and came before them. What an interesting scene. I've never seen Sleefen so talkative. Sleefen looked at her firmly. What do you want? Delucia. The girl smiled in response. Do not get it wrong, Sleefen. I'm interested in Lunan. Not you. Luna was completely dumbfounded. Why me? Sleefen let out a relieved sigh. It must be your bad habit again. Forget it, forget it. Do as you please. Then he did not forget to tell Lonan. I think I should send the family's royal guards to escort her. Get lost? This is the lovely asshole grabbing Lonan's clothes. I've seen that girl before. She's the top student in the magic class. She's very She's won all her previous matches by a landslide. Lucia teased. Some arrogant people need a good lesson. I believe you understand what I mean, but Ronan did not think much of it. I do not understand. What do you want? The girl looked at him intently. Your talent has left a deep impression on me. Therefore, I'm here to make a request, a proposition, a very special reward. Something you could never dream of. Lunan looked at the treasure before him in surprise. What is it? On his first day at the top academy, the boy completed all of his freshman year courses with a perfect score. This was because, at the entrance ceremony, he single-handedly defeated the 4 geniuses from the previous graduating class. The teachers gave him a perfect score and encouraged him to leave. Seeing this, the beautiful professor simply taught the boy a single slashing technique. But it shocked the boy for 100 years. Just last night, because Lunan shone brightly at the enrollment ceremony, Elizabeth Lucia came to his door aggressively, giving him the family crest and inviting him to complete the family challenge request. It turns out that the Lucia family, in order to consolidate the status of the 2 major families, abandoned the priority consideration of bloodline, inviting the nation's top geniuses to join, and this badge is the invitation to join the Lucia family. Lunan looked at the precious badge in his hand and asked, Do you have the authority to give this to someone else? Elisa Lucia responded proudly. If you're asking this question, then you must know what it is. I do not think I need to explain. Well, I only heard it from a passerby. Before his time travel, Lunan heard about this insignia from the Grand Commander, a Deshan. It's a Luciana family invitation. With this insignia, even a peasant can become a member of the great Luciana family, but one must pass the clan leader's test. Private Luna. If you have a chance to receive an invitation in the future, I hope you'll join us. Elizabeth Lucia saw Ronan still hesitating. Add a final sentence and left. I hope you make a wise choice. As she left, she looked back and advised Ronan, You were born a beast. You should not stay with the flock for too long, otherwise you'll become like them. Then he left with his men. Asser finally breathed a sigh of relief. Only Lonan stared at the badge in his hand. In this country, only the powerful can do as they please. Good. This opportunity might be helpful to me later. The rule at Filion Academy is that strength is paramount. Therefore, it will be based on the results of the entrance examination. Students are assigned different learning environments and conditions. The most representative example is dormitory assignment. Average students are assigned to small courtyards. Those at the bottom are assigned to thatched huts. So every year, there are noble young masters and princesses who cannot stand it and cause a commotion, and the Academy's method of stopping them is also violent. Read or get out? Only the top students can enjoy luxurious villas. Looking at this room filled with aristocratic atmosphere, Lunan could not help but admire the Academy's immense wealth. Suddenly Lunan remembered the Academy staff's reminder that there was a course list for this semester on the table. He looked at the list and fell into thought. Top-ranking students have the right to choose their own courses. He had planned to slack off this semester. Unexpectedly, the course list had so many interesting courses. 101000 Lunan wanted to sign up for all of them. In a short while, he looked at the list in his hand with satisfaction, believing he had chosen the perfect courses. The scene, the first class after enrollment, basic swordsmanship of the Empire. Teacher Ball frowned, thinking, is this kid here to sabotage me? Then I told Lunan, you already showcased your exquisite swordsmanship at the entrance ceremony. I have nothing more to teach you. If I let you stay, it would only demotivate the other students. You do not need to come to this class anymore. Lunan was speechless. He told me not to come even before his class started. In the end, I could only dejectedly go to the lake to sulk. How lonely it is to be invincible. It's not just swordsmanship class. There were also archery and combat classes. They all kicked me out. This is completely different from what I imagined. At this moment, a voice out. Lunan, should not you be in class? Professor Nibiros. Nibiros saw through at a glance. You must have completed all your courses. So you're worried there's nothing left to learn, right? Luna did not hide it. Yes, I thought I'd learn a lot at Filion. Nibiru not show any surprise, remaining calm. You finished all your first-year courses on your first day. Is entirely within my expectations. After all, you only had to glance at my techniques back then. You perfectly replicated them. You have nothing left to learn. As a Filion professor, I cannot ignore this. Give me your sword. She reached out for Lunan's sword. Let me teach you this important lesson. Why did she take my sword? Just as Luna was puzzled, the sword energy swiftly flew past Lunan's face. Luna looked on in surprise, but Nibiru did not think so. This sword is only capable of this much. Something like this cannot be called a weapon. It only wastes the user's energy. Then he stuck the sword back into the ground. Luna looked on in confusion. Look closely. Before he finished speaking, Nibiru assumed an immersive stance. He gently grasped the hilt of his sword. After showcasing everything, Nibiru quickly sheathed his sword, leaving Lunan completely shocked. Do you understand now, Lunan? Now do you know what you lack? The female professor Simple Slash shocked the boy for 2.5 years, simply because the same move with different weapons consumes vastly different amounts of energy and yields drastically different power, a tenfold difference. Before this, Lunan's concept of a sword was simply a consumable item. Strong and sharp was enough. Even if it was damaged in battle, he could just buy a new one, until he witnessed Neighbor's 2 slashes. The same move with different swords, it can unleash power of a completely different level. Nabila seriously analyzed it for Lunan. One breath? One swing? Even such a simple movement? On a life-or-death battlefield, the amount of energy these movements consume will determine your survival. If you are going to use magic, you must find a weapon that suits you. Of course, you cannot understand that yet, because you do not know how to use magic yet. Lunan curiously asked her. You know? Yes, but you do not use magic, and yet possess such powerful strength. I think it's amazing. Do not worry, one day you'll be able to use your magic, so you need to prepare suitable weapons in advance. It seems you have many secrets. Come to my class. May I? Of course. According to the rules, you can only attend my class in your 2nd year, but you're eligible now. Of course, the requirement for attending my class is, please bring a weapon that suits you, not a piece of steel. Scene change. Lunan together with Asel and Maria arrived at a stone house. This is the blacksmith shop Sleafin recommended. Asel and Maria are teasing each other. Looks like this dilapidated stone house is 1,000 years old. I bet it would collapse if you just touched it. Is this really what Sleafin recommended? Lone is speech. I guess maybe the inside is nicer. As everyone opened the door, they glanced around. A scene of desolation and dilapidation met their eyes. Everyone was shocked. It was even prettier inside. Why? Surely Sleifin would not lie. Before he finished speaking, Appa opens the door to the room. So noisy. I'm sleeping, making all this racket in the middle of the day. Who are you? Why are you here? Luna mutters to himself. Whoa, another baffling sight. A werewolf in a blacksmith shop. The werewolf got angry seeing his indifference. Are you dead? Why are you here? Answer me clearly. Seeing this, Lunan took out the family crest given by Sleifin. Why are we here? Of course, to buy weapons. Sleifin said they forged top-tier weapons here. The werewolf glanced at the insignia, the symbol of the Grantia family. Then he said nonchalantly, so what? Just because you showed me that, are you one of them? I do not know who leaked this place, but we do not accept customers like you. Go away, child. Go home and play in the mud. Lunan angrily refused. The werewolf hesitated after hearing the answer. You mean not? His expression instantly turned ravenous. There's another way. If you give me that cute child's arm, maybe I'll consider it. I'm hungry, so can you feed me? The cute Azel, frightened and panicked, hid behind Lunan. After hearing the werewolf's request, Lunan gave him a fierce look. Hey, brother, you've crossed the line. Before the words finished, Langhan thrust his sword straight into the werewolf's heart. The werewolf was scared out of his wits, back a few meters. Although his armor prevented the attack, still shaking constantly. Seeing this, Lunan did not intend to stop. No matter how tough he is, I'll keep hitting him until he breaks. The werewolf was so scared that he quickly waved his hands. Wait, that was just a test. What? A test? Yes, for those we've never met before. This is how we assess whether they are qualified to forge weapons here. At the same time, I also want to test my invisible armor. I deliberately provoked you. Lunan was embarrassed after hearing this. Is this a new type of scam? How can I believe what you're saying? This is the rule of the iron shop? If you do not believe me, you can confirm it with Lord Shelifin. Lunan fell silent. Slowly sheathed the sword. The werewolf stood up and apologized to Assel with a smile. I'm very sorry for what I just did, my friend. I'll apologize if you're unhappy. I do not eat people, so do not worry. Let me introduce myself. I'm D. I'm an apprentice at this blacksmith shop, and also as a longtime gatekeeper. You said you came here to buy a top-tier weapon. This is just the entrance to the blacksmith shop. Please follow me. Then he opened the door to the room. The real space is here. Then he pressed a hidden button in the room. The three of them were startled. The whole room is slowly descending. It's a ladder made of magic stones and pulleys. This is the way to the real blacksmith's shop. Suddenly, everyone was stunned by the sight before them. They never imagined that there was such a magnificent and huge forge underground. This is the best and largest forge in the imperial capital. Capito the great dog. Then he glanced at Lunan. Since you passed my test, let's go. I'll take you to the best master craftsman in the imperial capital to forge the best weapon. The boy merely swung his weapon lightly, but shocked the master with 400 years of forging experience. It was simply because he had glimpsed the female professor's techniques. It's a perfect replication. The same move, a different sword, a gentle, and the burst of sword energy instantly shatters the thick wall, leaving a 100-meter crack in the ground. Just now, Lunan followed the werewolf to the best and largest forge in the imperial capital. The werewolf acted as a guide. Our forge only provides items for the royal family and nobility. All the empire's master blacksmiths of exquisite skill are here. However, the best among us, widely acknowledged, is the old dwarf who lives here. He's a master with 400 years of smelting experience. This old man is very stubborn, but his skills are unmatched. So I respect him very much. Old man, what are you doing? I brought guests, the master asked angrily. What's with all the noise opening the door? It's Didion, right? You got him, bastard. I told you be quiet when I'm working. You do not listen at all, but the werewolf shamelessly shirks responsibility. What did I do? So many weapons are jammed behind the door, I cannot open, so clear them out. Elder Dorgan, as a young... You're so talkative. Did you bring guests? I guess their skills are pretty good, huh? Of course. The werewolf proudly pointed at Lunan. I've tested him. He possesses top-tier swordsmanship. I believe you'll be amazed when you see, will be shocked. The master looked curiously. Oh, really? Unexpected, it's just a child. Let's see, looking forward to Lunan. Come on, child, may I see your sword? I can tell the quality of a weapon just by looking at it. Lunan looked embarrassed. Huh, really? Of course you may. After saying that, he drew his sword. The master carefully observed the sword Lunan pulled out. My god, trash, you've been carrying this trash as a weapon. Before the words finished, the master easily smashed Lunan's weapon to pieces. Seeing his weapon smashed, Lunan was so angry he wanted to beat him up 100 times. Wait, old... What are you doing? But the master calmly pointed to the pile of weapons. Go get a sword over there. Any of them would be better than that broken sword of yours. With that broken sword, you cannot unleash your true potential. I'll give you the sword you choose for free. Do not feel like you're getting the short end of the stick, because any sword you choose is 100 times better than that piece of junk. Lunan looked at him questioningly. Really? The werewolf nodded. Then, Lunan casually picked up a 40-meter-long sword. The atmosphere is really different, but will this really make a big difference? My curiosity piqued and I asked the master, may I try this sword? If I break something, please do not blame me, okay? The master seemed to expect Lunan to perform exceptionally well. Okay, I do not. Go try. Perhaps you're also full of anticipation. Pour all of yourself into the sword. Lunan looked at the sword in his hand and recalled Nabaros's swing. Then, following her method, gently grasped the hilt and retracted it. Enter a state of immersion. Gently swing a sword. The master looked at the gently and swiftly swung sword in astonishment. This aura. Do not tell me. Nabarius, the powerful sword energy instantly shattered the thick wall. A 100-meter-long crack was left on the ground. Everyone outside was startled. Is not that Elder Dulong's house? What's wrong in the middle of the day? What happened? Did the forge explode? Inside the room, Lunan and the master were dumbfounded. What just happened? Lunan could not explain himself. Wait a minute. That was not my intention. I was simply following Professor Nablos's method. Are you a student? Lunan curiously asked him back. Do you know Coach Nablos? The Grandmaster responded calmly. Of course. I made all her swords. Really? Coach Nablos' sword? That 100-meter-long greatsword? But the master looked completely unconcerned. Yes, the secret sword Bird Lusa. This is one of the few masterpieces of my life. The trash you're holding is nowhere near comparable. Looking at the big hole in the wall, Lunan agreed with it. Yes, the difference in power is enormous. To be honest, I lack a suitable sword. The master jokingly teased Lunan. I thought you were a rookie, unable to accurately judge your own abilities. Before the words finished, he enthusiastically patted Lunan on the back repeatedly, but I have not seen such a genius in a while. You make me feel alive again. But with your talent in swordsmanship, it's difficult to forge a sword that suits you. As you know, ordinary swords cannot withstand your strength. Then what should I do? The master pondered for a moment. Ordinary materials cannot forge a sword suitable for you. I need to use the highest grade steel and melt it with a special material. Need materials related to dragons. Dragon materials. What about this one? After Lunan finished speaking, he took out Sida's eggshell. I'm not sure. Is this? The master looked at it curiously. What is that? An eggshell. Huh. Practice makes perfect. Hammer after hammer. The master looked at the perfectly intact eggshell in disbelief. I do not believe it. The hammer cannot even crack this thing. It did not have any effect at all. Does such a material really exist? Then, excitedly asked Lunan. Can I really use that treasure? Lunan responded awkwardly. Of course. It's useless to me. So please feel free. The master was instantly full of energy. This is enough for me to forge a unique sword. Come back in 2 weeks to collect it. I will have the Empire's best sword ready. I believe you. We'll see. The master looked happily at Asel and the other person. And you two over there? Since you're here, go see the other masters. Azrael and Mary were flattered. See the other masters. The master turned and busied himself. Yes, I cannot let a Vip's friend leave empty-handed. Right? If you tell them I introduced you, they'll take care of you. I want to take care of you both too. But right now, it needs to be remelted. I cannot do anything. What a wonderful sound. Baren looked at the master wordlessly. That old man's gone mad. Cut to, deep beneath the forge. 2 robed figures are whispering. Those above are as noisy as ever. How annoying. I feel like burning them all right now. Please patient. Now is not the time to reveal myself. Will not be long. Starting with those ignorant blacksmiths, everything in this empire, the day when all things vanish, buried by the light, is coming. The beautiful commander from the days of one below. Now I see you again. But you're like someone who can be beaten and scolded at will. Luna was full of doubts, but he protectively stood by her with his usual domineering manner. One day prior, Luna had received a promise from the Empire's best master blacksmith. He asked them to come back in 2 weeks to collect their weapons. Azel and Mary, upon the master's recommendation, had each commissioned weapons tailored to their needs. Although the cost of forging weapons for all 4 of them was exorbitant, but Lunan produced the family crest given by Sleefen. He did not even have to pay. What a great fleece. After the 4 of them customized their weapons, they left the blacksmith's shop. Azel and Mary classes. So the 2 of them parted ways with Lunan. Lunan could only walk aimlessly on the campus paths. How boring. I still have to wait 2 weeks to get the equipment. Before I knew it, I arrived at the Academy's Sword and Tent Hall. It's a place specifically for educating upperclassmen. Does that mean Professor Nabros also teaches here? If it were not for her request that I bring a suitable weapon, I would have come to class earlier, but now I should be able to attend class with this temporary weapon. Suddenly, a chill ran down Lunan's spine. Professor Nibiruas was staring intently at Lunan. Professor Nibiruas. Unexpectedly, Nibiruas grabbed Lunan's ear. Long time no see, Lunan. I cleared you to come to class immediately after obtaining the weapon. So what have you been busy with lately? You've been skipping class? Lunan explained to her with an innocent look. Skipping class? I have a perfectly good reason. Neighborosa did not care at all. Forget it, come with me. I'll listen to your excuse on the way, Lunan shouted helplessly. I understand, so let go. It hurts, it hurts. The beautiful woman on the upper floor landing suddenly noticed this scene. What was that sound? Who screamed? Suddenly she was knocked down by a man. Did not block the way. Move it. The documents in her hands scattered everywhere. She crouched down to pick them up. I'm sorry, Khan. I'm a little flustered, but the man showed no apology and instead blamed her. There, you're picking up too slowly. So what were you spacing out for just now? If you do not have time. Useless. The woman could only respond humbly. Sorry. I understand. I'll leave right away. Cut to the first practice room in the Sword and Tent Hall. Professor Nabros is introducing Lunan. He shone brightly in the entrance exam, defeating 4 opponents at once. I believe you've all heard of it, right? But I'll introduce him again. His nose Nan. Freshman. Starting today, he will be attending classes with you. Lunan bowed humbly. I'm Lunan, a freshman, majoring in martial arts. Nice to meet you all. Seniors and upperclassmen. The words just left his mouth. The students below started whispering amongst themselves. Is he the freshman who got first place? So he skipped a grade to take this class. Is he really that amazing? He looks like a hooligan. Lunan was speechless. Hey, I can hear everything. Guys, Lunan also saw a few familiar faces in the crowd. Nasta. And to his surprise, even the annoying Schlieffen had skipped a grade. At that moment, the classroom door opened. The woman who opened the door said hurriedly, Sorry, Professor? I'm late. Lunan hesitated for a moment upon hearing the familiar voice. This voice. The woman quickly went to the professor to explain. Professor, I was just dealing with some urgent matters. Am I really late? Nibarasu did not seem to mind at all. It's okay. Catch your breath first. We just finished introducing the new student. The freshman you mentioned earlier, the one who took on 4 opponents at once. Yes, you should know his name. Kose? Okay. Then turn to face Lunan. Nice to meet you. Lunan, I'm a second-year student majoring in martial arts. I'm the teaching assistant for this class. I'm Ada Shan. Nice to meet you too. Lunaz, the great commander. Adshan Akaluzia. Her command ability is unbelievable. Unbeaten in battle. She was the first woman to be promoted to Supreme Commander. She ruled the battlefield with her calm judgment and outstanding leadership, called the Iron Lady. Everyone who worked under her said so. Adshan, she did not have blood in her veins but iron. Who would have guessed that the great commander had such an experience? Lonan looked at her again. It's obvious she has no memories from before she time traveled. So this is when the Grand Commander was just starting out, and then the request back then? Lunan recalled scenes from before she time traveled. Can you tell me not to do something foolish? Did not become a tailor? Luna was instantly at a loss. What should I do? This is a big problem. Because before, at this time, a male student shouted loudly. Hey, Adshan, come and see my posture. Right? Okay. I'm here. Another female student shouts rudely. Teaching assistant. This smells. Do not you have any other towels? Oh, sorry. I'll get you a fresh one. In a moment, a divan was bustling around like a servant, attending to everyone. Lona felt embarrassed. Why is she busy? All those little tasks the servant should be doing. Why is she doing them? At that moment, the senior student who had looked down on her just moments ago walked over. Hey, freshman, you look bored. If you do not mind, would you like to duel with me? Luna was completely dumbfounded. Duel? Who are you? The man burst into laughter. Ha, is not this too such? I'm sorry. I'm Cardin, a third-year student. I heard that when you enroll, you single-handedly challenge 4 second-year TME students. If the rumors are true, I'd like to see your skills. Lunan mercilessly rejected him. But I have something to do now. Want to duel me without even a weapon? Get your weapon ready first. Haha. Yes. After saying this, Cardin turned his head and shouted disrespectfully. Hey, you fool. Get my weapon. Okay. Calden, I'll get it right away. No sooner had he spoken, Lona's face. What? Useless. Glaring at Cardane with murderous intent. Who the hell are you? What are you saying? Adsan quickly retrieved a weapon and handed it to Cardane. Here you go. Cardane took the weapon. What is it? The next second, he yelled loudly in the hall. Useless. Why did you give me a long gun? Do not you know I've been using a short gun for a long time? Adsan was at a loss, looking innocent. Ha, did you tell me? I'm sorry, Khan. That's because you've been using a lance in class. Not a short. Cardane looked down on her. Ha, look it. You dare talk back? Then he struck her head hard with a stick. There's a reason you're so stupid. Someone who did not even qualify for this course, after desperately begging the professor, finally got. Your swordship is not refined, so you should at least be good at chores. Do not you have even a shred of guilt, or are you just inherently shameless? Lunan listened silently. His face. At the moment the stick was about to fall, Lunan grabbed it forcefully. All right. Let's begin. What you said just now, if it were not, I do not know what to do. Achan looked at him questioningly. Golden also looked at him questioningly and asked, What? Hey, what did you just say? The next second, Lunan's temples bulged, his eyes filled with murderous intent as he glared at him. What's your problem? Let the duel begin, you worthless piece of trash. Damn you. Bastard. The boy, for the sake of the person he respects most, dared to challenge the entire class single-handedly, just so she would not be bullied. The academy professor did not want to cause further trouble. He unleashed his aura to intimidate and dissuade them. Just now, after Aidshim blocked a blow for me and Lunan gang, Cal just smiled. Did I hear wrong? This is a bit shocking. Do not tell me. You did this because of that good-for-nothing. I just met. Do you know her? You're sticking up for her? Interesting. Or are you just a lowly commoner like her? Or is it, you and she are twins? Lunan ignored him. He said angrily. Shut up. Get ready to be beat. If you do not want to be beaten. The next second, Lunan quickly drew his sword, but Calden blocked it with his gun. What? How could he have gained so much power without magic? How is this possible? Calden retreated tens of meters to block the blow. Lonan looked at him impassively. Were not you complaining about not wanting to use a spear? You wish. So I modified it for you. Do you like it? Seeing his gun split in two by Ronan's single blow. Calden, never having suffered such an insult, instantly bulged with rage. How dare you, bastard. Then with his enchanted weapon, he aggressively attacked Ronan. You do not even know your own situation? Do you think you'll be alright, after doing this? Just when the gun was only 0.1 meters from Lunan. Yes, I will. Lunan quickly drew his sword, 4 strikes in a second. Like a magnified version of Orange Kyle, he sliced the gun in his hand into 4 pieces. Cardin looked at the scene in disbelief, but Lonan did not give him a chance to breathe. He immediately struck him with several more swords. Just worry about yourself. Before he finished speaking, Cardin was struck hard. Mayo's hit hard. Finally, Lunan delivered a horizontal blow. He knocked Cardin unconscious. Cardin fell heavily to the ground. Lunan showed no pity. You should be grateful you're still in the academy. If I had met you outside, then you'll really be beaten to death by me. Everyone present was astonished and disgusted in low voices. Calden was defeated. Unbelievable. He ranked very high in his 3rd grade. Then, Lunan found the few people who had just been ordered by Achan to do odd jobs. So's that rude jerk who took the towel. Walmau was quite scared. Ardao. Pardon me. If there's smell, then wash it yourself. Why should you make others do it? Lunan strode over aggressively. Is she an assistant? A servant, you make her do everything? Do not you have hands? Holmau was terrified by this imposing manner, but Lunan showed no sign of stopping. Come here, I'm going to smash your nose. It seemed like things were about to get out of hand. Wait, stop it, Lunan. Adsan stepped in front of Lunan, blocking him. I do not know why you're doing this. But seriously, I'm fine. Calm down. But Lunan's face darkened. Get out of the way, assistant. When it comes to other things, I can restrain myself. But when you are looked down upon, I will never forgive him, at least in the Empire. You should not be treated like this. Go away. I will not leave until I've knocked them all down today. I will not let this go. At that moment, a voice stopped him. Stop. Professor Nabru emerged, radiating an aura of green terror. Stop, Lonan. I will not hold you accountable for the argument and scuffle just now, because more unfortunate accidents will happen during a fight. However, if you make things any worse, I cannot just stand by and watch. Sheathe your sword and leave. Lunan was so overwhelmed by this terrifying aura that he could not move. He looked at her in shock. This aura. A python. Impossible. Is this the true strength of Professor Nabaros, the sword saint? Seeing Lonan remain unmoved, Nabaros reminded him. Lonan, you cannot be a statue in battle. As the instructor of this course, I'll give you a lesson today. Lunan looked at her firmly. So you should know what your teaching assistant went through. He gripped the sword in his hand even tighter, angrier now. Until now, you knew what happened, but stood out. Nabaros did not care at all. This is none of your business. This is between me and my assistant. This is my final warning. Lunan, stop it, regardless of whether you are an unprecedented sword master. My answer remains the same. The next second, Lunan flew into a rage. Get lost? It seemed that even 10 oxen could not hold Lunan back. Nabaros could only shake his head and sigh. There's nothing I can do. Before he finished speaking, Nabaros instantly unleashed a powerful aura like a python, striking at Lunan. Lunan could only grit his teeth and endure the blow. Scene change. Lunan's dream. Scenes from a past life questioning Adshan appear. Grand Commander, why did you volunteer for the commander's position when everyone else refused? Ad responded calmly. You will understand someday. There are some things you cannot force others to do. This is your destiny. Is that your answer? I do not understand. Why do you have to shoulder so much? Shen is deeply pleased. Soldier Lonan, I'm sure for someone burdened with this, please do not forgive me. The next second, Lunan woke up from the dream shouting, Lunan, what's wrong? Did you have a nightmare? The two of them exchanged awkward glances. A boy stroke of divine justice, cleaved the incredibly tough giant in two. Just a few days ago, Lunan woke from a coma shouting, Grand Commander. The two exchanged glances. Grand Commander? What does it mean? Lunan was so embarrassed he could dig out a 3-bedroom apartment. Ahaha. Nothing. Is this the school clinic? Yes. The coach asked me to bring you here for treatment. She also told me to tell you. She did that to correct your inappropriate behavior in class. Lunan fell silent. By the way, Lunan, were you angry with them for my sake before? Lunan, this old, proud, and aloof person, turned his head and did not dare to respond directly. Because I am an upright sword, and I value politeness very much. Shin saw through Lonan's intentions. Ha, you're not good at lying. Please do not hate Cardin and the others, because I also understand their feelings. Lonan was angry and did not understand after hearing this. Ha, what? How can you say that? As a teaching assistant, besides the teaching assistant's work, I also have to do everyone's odd jobs. So why is it the teaching assistant's job? And we cannot ignore the fact that the person we call our mentor, she knows everything that's happening, but she's just turning a blind eye. Are not you angry? Addison just smiled slightly. Lunan, that's not how it is. The reason the teacher did this is because I asked her to. This is because I'm enjoying privileges I do not deserve. To participate in this course, one must reach the level of a swordsmanship expert. But even after a year of practice, I can only barely control my magical power. Lunan was startled. What? That's impossible. In my past life, the great commander was skilled in using magical power. Was she ever like this? So I separately asked the coach. I can turn a blind eye to other students making me do chores, because I do not want to burden her. After all, she's already taken on a lot by exceptionally admitting me. While I enjoy this privilege, I must also pay the corresponding price. I can still handle it. But, thank you today? Lunan, I thought I had long since gotten used to these trivial matters, but today it's still a little painful. Lunan's face fell after hearing her answer. To be honest, the reason you're enduring all this is it, because you want to become a commander. Achen looked at him incredulously. Huh, how did you know? Was it that obvious? But I'm still a total noob, so I cannot confidently say it out loud, but my dream is to become the grand commander of this empire. I know it sounds boastful coming from a noob like me, but I will not give up. Maybe you'll not look like it, but I'm very confident in my knowledge of military science and tactics. Achen looked at her calloused hands. I lack natural talent, so I'll make up for it with hard work. It's already time for the next class without me realizing it. I have to get going. After saying that, he got up and prepared to leave. Lunan, you should get plenty of rest. Okay. I understand. Thank you for taking care of me. Shen smiled slightly. You're welcome. See you next time. After a chat, Lunan looked at the chair she had just sat in and fell into thought. He recalled the instructions he had received before his time travel. Private Lunan, please let me know. Do not go to such lengths anymore. Just be a tailor honestly. I've tried all sorts of decent jobs, but I found that being a tailor is the most comfortable. What should I do? Commander? Scene change. In the dead of night, Lunan received a letter from the blacksmith shop and was speechless. Sending me a letter in the middle of the night. No, the master at the Xinjiang blacksmith shop wrote, "The sword is finished. Please come and collect it." Lunan wondered if the old man was trying to trick him. He also said it would be the best sword in the empire. It has not been a few days yet. It's already finished. The next day, Lunan and the other two returned to the blacksmith's shop, looking at the still desolate house. What? Did not he ask us to come? Why is no one here? What terrible treatment is this? The next second, they tripped over a carelessly placed helmet. He could no longer contain his anger. He kicked out. Why are there so many things blocking my way? Did not they clean up? Is this really how the empire's best blacksmith shop serves its customers? This level of service is unacceptable these days. Watching Lunan's rage, Maria and the other person looked at him helplessly. Why is he so sensitive lately? I know. Is it because of what happened in class? Then, Lunan could not hold back his anxiety. This would not. Let's go in ourselves. Maria patiently persuaded him. Wait, can you really do as you please like that? Lunan could not care less at this moment. So what? He asked us to come first. Stop talking. Hurry up and catch up. Then, following the werewolf's instructions, Lunan went to the inner room. He pressed a hidden button. The next second, a magical ladder rotated and moved downwards. The blacksmith shop's customers basically do not understand the basic service. We'll meet later. I have to complain properly then. Maria and the other person silently watched Lunan. Will this work? What a mess. Suddenly, Lunan was startled. The vast underground factory before him had become a sea of fire. Corpses lay scattered on the ground. What the hell happened? Why did it become like this? At this time, Assel noticed something unusual. Lunan. Look there. A huge stone giant was seen chasing two old men from the blacksmith's shop. Lunan watched all this angrily. A rock? How could these things be here? Assel anxiously watched them. They were about to be caught. What should we do? Lunan. It feels like we cannot help. Looking at his injured abdomen, he hesitated for a moment. The next second, Lunan scooped up a cell. Assel looked completely bewildered. Huh. Then Lunan turned to Maria and said, Maria, go back and get the others to help. Okay. Alright. Assel on tight. Lunan leaped. As terrified. At that moment, the two old blacksmiths fell to the ground. Only death awaited them. Just as the stone golem was about to smash down, Lunan, in a righteous strike from above, cleaved the incredibly hard stone golem in two. The two stared at Lunan in shock. I've had so many frustrating things happen these past few days. Now I can finally let it all out. You chose the wrong day to come, foolish stone man. A sword made of eggshell is actually the masterpiece of a master with 400 years of forging experience. Not only is it light, but it's incredibly strong. It also possesses the ability to heal itself by sucking blood. The boy merely used it to make a light vertical slash. The sword light swept out with lightning speed. It even left a deep crack in the air. Just now, Lunan and the other two entered the underground blacksmith shop. The huge underground factory before them had become a sea of fire. They quickly realized it was the work of the rock giant. Just as the stone golem was about to crush the two elders, Lunan performed a ground-splitting strike, cleaving the incredibly hard stone golem in two. As Lunan was striking a pose, another stone golem immediately swung its fist at him. Lunan remained unmoved. With the fist only 0.01 meters from Lunan, he quickly drew his sword and delivered a blow. A flash jumped to the sky above, aiming for the neck. One sword style. Only click was heard. The giant's head fell to the ground. Then the rock giant tumbled down. The two old men were greatly shocked. This grief. Was he a guest of Master Dorn that day? To defeat the rock giant with one blow at such a young age? Incredible. What exactly happened here? Can you tell me quickly? Lunan quickly approached them to understand the situation. Really? Dozens of rock suddenly bursting in here? It's true. We do not know why they've invaded. They just emerged from somewhere underground, destroying anything they deem fit. And they're plundering the blacksmith's shop. They've even captured a few people, including Master Dorn. Then they returned to where they came from. Didion also rushed, but he was not good at fighting. Going like this, they might get killed. Lone looked on resolutely. Then he got up and left. Okay. Now there are no more of those bastards here, right? Right? The one you took out was the last one here? Lona also told us so before leaving. Assel, you and Mary go check for other casualties. Wait here for reinforcements. After saying that, I took out the cute Sitta. If you find any injured people, you can use Sitta to treat them. And what about you, Lunan? Lunan looked seriously at the huge footprints on the ground. What do you think? I have to go and rescue the captured elders, and I also need to get my sword from Master Durin. The scene. Doran clung tightly to the sword he had made. Didion stood in front protecting him, seeing the overwhelming number of enemies. Run away, Didion shouted. Run away. But Doran remained where he was, with your invisible armor. You should not die, right? Didion was speechless. Shut up, you old. You're even cursing me. Our situation is already difficult enough, so do not say these ominous things. Seeing Dulan clinging to his sword, he became even angrier. Do you have the energy to talk nonsense here? You'd better use your sword to kill them. Is your sword just for decoration? The stubborn Doran still refused. This treasure's my masterpiece. It's a milestone in my weapons-making career. I cannot let someone with such trash swordsmanship dirty it. Didion is speechless, utterly speechless. Damn it, you crazy old bastard. No matter how obsessed you are with weapons, now is not the time for this. The next second, the rock giants attack. A heavy punch comes crashing down on them. Ping. Dalin looked at the fist striking down in surprise. Didion struggled upwards with all his might. He forcefully received the blow. The defensive magic on my invisible armor was broken. Before he could react, the rock giant prepared to unleash another punch. Dog shit. If I had known I would die like this, I'd really cry myself to death, just as Didion felt certain of his death. Suddenly, a figure leaped from behind. Lonan appeared behind the giant rock creatures, quickly performing an alpha strike. The next second, the rock giant head shattered into pieces. You did well, Didion. Luna landed before them. Leave the rest to me. The two looked at Lunan in surprise. Lunan, how did you get here? There's a whole bunch of giant rock monsters on the road. Lunan just glanced at them indifferently. Those bastards. I've already taken care of all of them. I even saved the other blacksmiths. Didion looked at him in disbelief. What? Is that even possible? Lunan did not care at all. Now is not the time for idle chatter. Before he finished speaking, he reached out to Dulin for a sword. Give me that, Master Dulin. Because my sword is unusable. Your so-called masterpiece. I heard you say that outside. That's right. Hugo, here, take this. Although the scabbard is unfinished, it's usable immediately. Lunan did not stand on ceremony. Grasping the hilt, let me. Try it. Stone giant swarmed in. How many are there? A giant hand slapped down, trying to grab Lunan. Then Lunan lightly swung a sword. The sword energy erupted with a tremendous shockwave. The stone giants were shocked. The next second, Lunan gathered his strength for a vertical chop. The sword light swept out with lightning speed, leaving behind a deep spatial crack, cutting everything in half. The two of them watched in surprise. Only Dulin's face was filled with joy. Lunan looked at the sword in his hand in disbelief. Is this powerful? Dalin could not hide his joy. So, Lunan, do you like La Mancha? La Mancha? Is that the name of this sword? Yes, it's the name I got from my beloved astrologer. Is not it great? It's so light you cannot feel its weight, but its hardness surpasses secret silver, therefore it can withstand any swordsmanship. Most importantly, I did not infuse it with magic to make it, but it could absorb blood and then self-regenerate. Luna was startled. Sita has this ability. I did not expect a sword made from its shell would also have this ability. Luna looked at it with satisfaction. You're even better than I imagined, old man. Haha, I'm glad you like it. Didion watched the two of them speechlessly. You just told me not to chat. What do you mean by chatting amongst yourselves now? Is this the time to boast? We're still in the enemy's lair. Let's get out of here quickly. Lunan looked around firmly. It's perfect timing. Then he turned and walked deeper inside. Didion, you take the old man and go first. There are some things I need to check. What? Need to check? It's nothing serious. Next second, Lunan glared angrily ahead. But I think there are rat bastards in the depths, and big bastards. The boy made a lightning-fast move. He instantly severed the man's arm. All because of a single sentence. It touched the boy's sore spot. Just now, after Luna rescued Dulong and Didihan, Luna planned to investigate further. Didi was puzzled. Rats? What do you mean? Luna explained seriously. I feel something's fishy. I know a lot about the stone giants. They're not prone to robbery. Not unless you provoke them first. They're quite docile. Lunan said, reaching out to touch the stone giant. And, at the back of their heads, I've never seen such suspicious markings. Dalin jumped out at this moment. Is this a magic circle? Do you recognize it? I'm not very knowledgeable about this, so I'm not sure. But the echoes of magic are constantly spinning. That's why the rock giant is going crazy. Who knows? Lunan glared into the depths, murderous intent radiating from him. Therefore, we need to get to the bottom of things. Then he rushed inside quickly. I want to know if my guess is correct. But the deeper I go now, this further confirms the hypothesis. Between the footprints of the rock giant, there are two human-sized footprints. Meanwhile, Luna noticed the purple crystals in the passage, and there are stones with a defensive system. It seems someone deliberately and meticulously planned all this. At this time, the sound of two people talking came from the depths. It seems there really are people deep inside. Let me see who these bastards are. Suddenly, Luna was startled. What? This is... Two people in robes were seen, and a giant several times larger than before. It seems they are the masterminds behind all this, and that giant. Compared to the rock giant we defeated before, the previous one looked like a child. It seems to be a news so far, but is activated. It will be a real pain in the neck. The two of them seem to be discussing the giant. Do you think there's an intruder? Do you think someone deliberately sabotaged it? Are you sure? Yes, because my mental control over the stone giant has been severed, so I think it was done by a third party. Paft, those stupid bastards in the Empire, have finally taken action. So what should we do? We've already used up almost all the rock giants, and we still cannot heal them. The man in white robes wore a sinister expression. Since things have come to this, we should go kill those people. But the woman in the robe shook her head. It should not be. Edward, we've destroyed most of the surrounding facilities. This will severely impact the Empire's weapons production. Conversely, if our identities are exposed, that person would not stand idly by, so let's lay low for now. You're still the same, so cautious. Alright, since we have no other choice, should I just get rid of it? Before the words left his mouth, the robe man began to cast a spell. Do as you please. Okay, suddenly the man in white robes shouted, the one peeking from behind. Lunan was shocked that he had been discovered. The blacksmith's smell of sulfur made me very nervous. The next second, the magical flames attacked with lightning speed, rapidly approaching Lunan. Whoosh! Asterisk. After the magical flames struck, a huge explosion occurred. The robe man watched with a smile. Ha! Was not that unexpected? Luna stared intently. Only after the thick smoke cleared could they see Lunan's face. Who's you, child? Unexpectedly, you actually managed to dodge the attack. Seems like you have some skills. Then I'll tie your feet up first. As soon as the words left his mouth, magical flames attacked Lunan again. He can cast such a large-scale spell so quickly. It seems he's no ordinary person. The robe man took off his hat. How did you get in here? This defense system is not easy to break through. Lunan did not answer his question but asked him instead, if anyone should speak first, it's you. Who are you? Even if you're dating. You should not be doing it in a place like this, right? The man in the robe burst into laughter after hearing this. You are quite the joker. When you joke like this, it would be fun to kill you. Do not you think so, Xyrilla? The robe woman was speechless. We're wasting time, Edward. But the robe man ignored her. How boring, Xyrilla. Then I'll find some fun myself. We do not have much time left, do we? To bury this under the starlight. Lunan's face fell after hearing this. His face was full of anger. Buried under the starlight. He suddenly recalled the four-winged giant's words. It will disappear buried among the stars. Angrily questioning him. What did you just say? Those words? The meaning of those words? Do you know? The robed man looked at the angry Lunan in confusion. What's going on? Why did his mood change so suddenly? Both you are coming with me. I have many questions to ask. The man in white robes thought he was joking again. Ha! You this little brat. Have you gone mad? Just you, trying to catch us. Hey kid, do you think that's possible? Before he finished speaking, Lunan instantly appeared behind him. Moments later, the white robed man's hand was seen falling to the ground. Yes. It's possible. Then she turned her head and glared angrily. You have no choice but obey. The man in white robes fell to the ground in excruciating pain. My hand. The woman in white robes looked at the fallen man in shock. Just a few seconds. Edward did not even react. Before she could think, Lunan grabbed. He squeezed her neck tightly. My dear, if you do not want to end up like him, just answer my questions obediently. Do not regret it later. The boy repeatedly plunged the sword into the woman. It was because she summoned the giant that destroyed their home, and she had a significant connection to the four-winged giant that threatened to destroy the world. Just now, Lunan defeated the man in white, and he grabbed the woman in white by the neck. He wanted to extract information about the four-winged giant from her, but the woman refused to speak, even to the death. Just as he was about to strike her down, the woman waved her hand and shouted. Magic shield. Lunan was instantly flung back. Good. So you would rather die than betray your secrets, would not you? Moments later, Lunan's body was still trembling. Magic shield? It seems quite sturdy. But I will shatter it. Before the words left his mouth, two beams of sword light swiftly flew towards the woman in white robes. The sword light directly shattered the magic shield. The woman was startled. Why could he cut through the magical shield directly? Before she could react, Lunan appeared directly in front of her. Then he delivered a sudden blow with his sword. It pierced deeply into her body. The woman fell to the ground in pain, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Lunan, however, watched her mercilessly. Her hat was knocked off. A half-elf? A half-elf mixed up with that villain? Who are you? While Ronan and she were fighting, a familiar voice came from behind. Fireball. A huge fireball was hurtling towards Lunan. Lunan reacted swiftly, swinging his sword directly at the massive fireball. He actually cleaved the fireball in two. The two halves rebounded and exploded against the giant. After a short while, the smoke cleared, and Lunan looked on in surprise. How strange. I clearly cut off his arm. What's going on? Only after looking closely did I discover the robed man's severed arm was writhing and rapidly healing. The severed limb was regrowing. Lunan looked on in disgust. Your appearance is truly sickening. But the man roared back. You little rascal. Stay away from that woman. But Lunan ignored him. It seems you still have not grasped the situation. The words had just left his mouth when Lunan mercilessly struck the woman again with his sword, plunging it hard into her thigh. The man he was watching gritted his teeth. Lunan looked at the man with mockery. You're all finished. Surrender now and you still have a chance. Understand? Since your body can heal so quickly. Then, this little sprite should be able to as well, right? Shall I give you another show? After hearing Lunan's words, the man's face darkened. All right. I surrender. Good. I do not want to see any more blood either. It would be troublesome if you died. The next second, the woman let out a sinister smile. Lunan sensed something was wrong. What's wrong with this woman? Why is she smiling? Suddenly a gust of wind whipped up from the right. Lunan, feeling a chill down his spine, turned his head. The gigantic fist of the green crystal appeared before him. When Lunan could only desperately parry with his sword, but he was still sent flying. Sorella, are you alright? I'm fine, Edward. If it were not for you feigning an attack to divert his attention, I did not even have time to cast control spells to activate the giant. I barely managed to activate the giant's arm to knock him down, but that guy must be badly injured. Sorella, we should report to the church first? But I need to deal with that bastard first. Be careful. That guy's intuition is monstrous. He looks like a child, but his heart is like a wild beast. Indeed, he's really dangerous. A madman. He'll kill without hesitation. Denari, I will not let my guard down again. If I do not kill him today, he will become a future threat. The man vaguely saw Lunan's back behind the thick smoke. The next second, he disappeared without a trace. Only the sound of a sword slashing was heard. The man's arm fell as a result. Then came Lunan's dozens of swords. The man's body was instantly cut to pieces. You think this can defeat? You do not understand the situation. Where do you think you're going? I still have many questions for you. The woman stared at him in shock. What a man. You were so badly injured. How did you survive? Speaking while casting a spell, Luna stubbornly held on. I will not. Luna looked like a wolf. His whole body was covered in dust mixed with blood. Damn it. My body would not listen to me. The woman looked at Lunan, who had not fallen yet. She made up her mind. This is so frustrating. Since there's no chance of winning, I should just go back and report this. As the magic was being cast, the woman's body was enveloped in blue light. I absolutely will not forget today. I will learn everything about you. No matter where you are, I will find you and kill you. Then, erase your family, loved ones, friends. All of it. Luna was instantly furious after hearing this. Now I finally found a clue. I cannot let her leave like this. Everything will be like that time again. Stop. He watched her retreating figure. At this moment, Lunan could only fume in helplessness. I told you to stop. Just as Cyrilla was about to teleport. The world suddenly went dark. You've worked hard. Lunan, stop. Before the words left her mouth, Cyrilla's body froze instantly. It was as if a giant green python had tightly wrapped around her. The teleportation array vanished. She could not even let out a desperate scream. Luna still stubbornly held on. I still have so many questions to ask her. The woman watched all this in disbelief. First, let me confirm. Is it you dared to injure my disciple so severely? Seeing Lunan covered in wounds, Neighbors' face was incredibly grim. The beautiful professor simply unleashed her aura, instantly freezing the elven woman in place. It was as if a giant green python had tightly coiled around her. At this moment, she was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Familiar voice, familiar numbness. Experiencing it again, she certainly would not forget who it was, but the pressure was much less than last time. Lunan turned her head and smiled. I already know the basic situation. How's your body? Lunan. Although injured, Luna was very fortunate. Minor issue. Your timing was perfect. Looking at the injured Lunan, Neighbors felt very uneasy. Take good rest. Lunan, leave it to me next. Then he closed his eyes and calmly said to the woman in the robe, I'm glad to see you again. I guess you're about to leave. The next second, he stared at her intently. But, you want to leave without having a cup of tea. That would make us seem inhospitable. Let us properly entertain you. Cyril instantly broke into a cold sweat. It was as if a giant was staring intently at his back. His face turned abnormally pale. He could not move. I watched Neighbors who reach out. I had to leave as soon as possible. Even though she struggled desperately, it was to no avail. In the end, Neighbors who still grabbed her face hard, still refusing to speak. Your crimes have exceeded the acceptable limit. How dare you touch my disciple? Before the words finished, the magic snake roared loudly. Then it opened its mouth wide and lunged at the two. Hell awaits you. Cyril looked on in fear, but her body would not move. After sensing the aura emanating from the giant, his eyes gradually closed. The giant python's mouth snapped shut. Cyril's consciousness was severed, but Nibbles calmly watched. Lone and relaxed. He knelt on one knee, panting, speechless. So tired, Nibbles slowly sheathed his sword. You did great. This is the first time something like this has happened. I'll notify the principal. Professor, that package hell awaits you. You mean Rottle in prison? Yes. I did not expect you to know about that place. But why ask that question? Just as Lunan suspected. The Rottle in prison, known as human hell, houses dangerous criminals who threaten the Empire. It's infamous for its capital punishment. No one can withstand the harsh interrogations there, but Luna still has many questions. Professor, I want to attend their interrogation. Interrogation? What are you talking about? That's not a place you can go. Before he finished speaking, Luna grasped her hand tightly. Pleading desperately. Just once. This is very important to me. Nibiru's looked at him in surprise. Cut to the blacksmith's workshop destroyed by the giant. Reinforcements arrived and were treating the injured. Mary was all extremely busy. We finished quickly. How about you, Azrael? Azrael and Sita are both about to collapse from exhaustion. It's good that we're almost done. I'm so relieved. Lunan has been gone for quite a while. I hope he returns safely. Next second, Lunan came to them. Are you talking about me? Maria asked Cell. Both of them were startled. Lunan, I've heard about you both along the way. You've done a great job. Mary arrived with reinforcements just in time. Assel and Sita are working hard to treat the injured. Are you too injured? Mary shouted angrily. This is what we should do? Idiot. Why did you go in alone? Thank God. You're safe. Looking at the injured Lunan, Assel and Sita's eyes went up. Lunan, how did you get so badly injured? Come and get treatment quickly. No. I've already received treatment. Everything's fine, do not worry. Especially now? Then he looked at the two bound people. I have more important things to do. Cut to, at the edge of a cliff, Nibiru's and the others from Ronin stared intently at the two captured people, waiting for something. Here come. Suddenly in the sky, the sound of flapping wings could be heard. Something huge flew in from the other side of the night sky. It was the vehicle dispatched by Rodolin Prison, escorted by the lion dog. After landing safe, a group of mysterious men in black got out. After closer look, they all wear raven masks. Like Grim Good evening, young men. Under orders from the Empire, we are to return these criminals to their prison. Are these them? Yes. According to the information you provided, he has the ability to regenerate. Really? Then looked at him grimly. His interrogation is sure to be interesting. We have not dealt with someone like this in a while. Okay, we should head back. We'll contact you after they've answered our questions. After saying that they carried the two away, the handover was over in less than 5 minutes, working hard for our Empire. Then without looking back, it flew into the sky. The two watched the griffin fly into the air. Denari? They've added extra magical restraints to them. They'll contact us in about a week. I'll give you time to interrogate them. Thank you very much. Professor Nabelos. Lonan only relaxed after watching the escort vehicles disappear. In the following period, the Didion group was rebuilding the blacksmith shop and factory. Liz Kapara Shuns D. Lonan was also constantly training his swordsmanship at the academy. Meanwhile, Rod on a human hell. Deep in the corridor, waves of agonizing screams ew. The table was littered with various torture devices. The man on the cross, his hair completely pulled out, his teeth being extracted one by one. He's quite stubborn. It's okay. Let's take our time. How interesting. I almost forgot what this felt like. It's time to let you taste the true flavor of this place. The Empire's ruthless interrogator is actually a seemingly kind and amiable old man, but this interrogation employed extreme torture.